If you've ever spent the weekend watching clip after clip after clip coming out of training camps around the NFL, then you'd be obsessed like me. But also, go ahead and hit that like and subscribe button, folks. We're back. We're back for another humongous week, probably going to be the biggest week of the summer. We've got guests every day this week. We've got earnings. We've got economic prints. We've got a whole bunch of stuff going on this week. So I hope that you got rested over the weekend. I hope that you're ready to go. Benzinga's pre-market playbook for Monday, July 28th, big week, kicks off right now. Good morning and welcome back, folks. It's great to have a whole bunch of returning faces, and I hope that you all had a wonderful weekend because, as I just said in the outset, it is going to be a busy week. We've got stuff happening here every day. We even had stuff happening over the weekend with the U.S. trade deal framework being agreed upon, and we've got green arrows in the futures here today, although they are off of their highs. So we'll see if maybe that goes red. Maybe we bounce. Maybe we trade higher. Got a lot of stuff to go through here today. Great to see a whole bunch of returning faces. Zach McCracken. Good morning, all. Get well soon, Charles. I didn't see a message from Charles. Maybe that was from over the weekend, but I will echo what you're saying there, Zach. Get well soon, Charles. Pretty awesome week the last couple of weeks, so hopefully you feel better. That's never any fun. Billy, good morning. SMX target 5 on a 4-hour chart. Boy, we got Billy's not even waiting, not even saying hello. He's just into the trades. Oh, man, we got a whole bunch of good stuff there. Peter, good morning. It's good to see you again. Crimp Biscuit, good morning. EKS, good morning. U.S. and EU reach tariff agreement to avert a trade war. Deal follows Scotland talks between Trump and the European Commission. Head Ursula von der Leyen, 15% tariffs agreed to. I'm going to go through that entire story. We're going to break that down, and I'm going to show you there are people on both sides of this. Did you expect anything less? We're going to go through that. EKS. C-Dub, good morning. Good to see you again. Brent, good morning. Welcome back. Shanlu Trading, good morning. Welcome back. Austin, great to see you again. Pete, locked in and ready to go. Sun-Kissed Yogi, checking in. Hopefully you're doing well on this Monday. Sean, good morning. Jane, good morning. Kayla, good morning. 3D, buenos dias, good morning. Yaso Fine, good morning. Chuck, good morning. Day Traders locked in, let's go. Cad Monkey, good morning. Producers ready to roll. Big Bees is locked in and ready to roll. Angelica, good morning. Quantum and Chad, good morning. Dan, Ryan, and JJ, good morning. Rooster, Sean, and Special K, massive week for earnings. I'm gonna preview what we got here coming up because you said it, boss. Tyler, good morning. Golger, good morning. Beth Dutton, steady, good morning. Kerching, I love starting off the morning with a Kerching. That's never bad. Graf, good morning. Florida Yacht Insurance Guy, good morning. Whisk, good morning. Sassy Butterfly Chick, boop, good morning. Exy Media, good morning. Jim, good morning. Blazed Rhino, good morning. Yeah, AEO is up. That's funny. James, good morning. Chris, good morning. Ann, good morning. ATL Russ locked in. Let's go. Alphonsus, good morning. Let's go. Aries Stock Market, good morning. Kevin, good morning. And we are off. Let's go ahead and take a look at the SPY here today. Figure out what we got rolling here. Now, initially, so again, as mentioned, futures higher. Futures are higher over the weekend with the EU trade deal, which we're going to break down here in a sec. As far as the SPY spot goes, talked about this maybe going up to 630, 640, leaving that kind of open to news flow. Well, we got it now, right? We've got yet another trade deal. There's talks of the tariffs actually being delayed with China while they finalize the deal. One more thing about that China deal, I think that we can probably plan for that to happen at some point soon. I know there's a little bit of inherent risk there doing that, but the tech stocks are telling you right now they're expecting a deal. And looks like with deals forming with other countries, it's only a matter of time before we get China. And that's going to be the next big one now with the EU being the largest trade partner with that one all wrapped up. So a couple more good things on the horizon. I did say 630 to 640. Now we've got some more news flow on top of that. So the way I look at this is that we probably are going to have to recalibrate this, especially after this week when we get all of those earnings prints in there. So we'll see here. 638.20 is our current price. We had a high here of 640.28 in the pre-market here today. Sure looks like the market is trying to trade up. When we left off last week, we said, if the market pulls back, one of the spots to look for is going to be this 20-day moving average, because when it comes into the 20-day moving average, bounces and holds, it often sets up for a move higher here. We're currently in the move higher from the last test that we had on Monday, June 23rd. So that should give you something to look for if the market does indeed sell off, perhaps on the backs of some of these earnings or something like that. We'll see if the market gives us a setup for that. Now, let's take a quick look at the morning update here. Get you all set here for today. Now, really quick, maybe we should take a look at, we'll go through that here real quick. Economic events. So first of all, we have the Dallas Fed manufacturing data. That's really it. Now on Tuesday, we have the goods trade balance. We have retail and wholesale inventories. We have housing price data, and we have the JOLTS job openings and CB consumer confidence. On Wednesday, we have GDP data, pending home sales, and then we have the FOMC decision. Now, we're not expecting anything different there. We're expecting no cut, no hike, just kind of keeping it in line there. But that does happen on Wednesday, and we're going to get Powell in his press conference, excuse me. On Thursday, we have PCE data, jobless claims, and the Chicago PMI, and then on Friday, we have non-farm payrolls and the ISM manufacturing data and the Michigan consumer sentiment. Now, if you thought that was enough to make the week busy, well, there's more. We also have a full slate of earnings here this week. Now, the big day is going to be Thursday there. That's going to have Apple, Cloudflare, MicroStrategy, Amazon, and Coinbase. Now, in the morning that day, we get Roblox, MasterCard, and I think there was AbbVie and Comcast in there. So that's going to be a really, really busy day. But you can see that the rest of these days still pretty busy. I am interested in that waste management print tonight, ticker WM. We're going to get that after the close here today. And then looking forward the rest of the week, really interested in that PayPal earnings tomorrow. Did anyone take a new PayPal swing trade? Been talking about that one recently. I'm kind of interested in that. Also, we're going to have Boeing tomorrow morning, and then tomorrow afternoon, we're going to have Booking, Starbucks, Mondelez, and Visa. On Wednesday, we have Altria in the morning and ADP. We'll get a couple of banks. We have Hess in there. And then Wednesday night, we have, I know some of you folks are waiting for this one, Robinhood, Meta, Microsoft, and ARM and Qualcomm on Wednesday. So just a absolutely packed week here with all of the different reports and everything else going on. Really quickly, we're just going to roll through this morning update. No IPOs here today. That's fine. We can probably deal with that. We don't have any company event until tomorrow. We did have a couple of initiations here that's worth noting. We did have an overweight from JP Morgan on Qualcomm with a price target of 200. That stock at 160, so plenty of time in there. Fortinet, ticker FTNT, in our cybersecurity theme, they caught a buy rating from Rosenblatt with a 125 target there at 106. CleanSpark also got a new initiation there. We take a look at the downgrades. Iron and Riot caught a downgrade. So we actually have some of those miners there catching a downgrade. And then on the upgrade here, we've got Mara upgraded. So it looks like a little bit of divergence there. Also worth noting, we have Nike upgraded, Texas Instruments upgraded as well. So, all right. Lots of stuff going on. Let's go ahead and dive into some of the news here real quick. As mentioned, U.S. stocks are likely to open higher as the ES and EU ink a trade deal. Going into this, President Trump announced a 15% tariff trade deal with the European Union on Sunday, putting an end to several months of trade uncertainty. That's one of the big takeaways here, right? With each trade deal, we have less and less uncertainty in the market. That should be overall good. Putting an end to several months of trade uncertainty with the U.S.'s biggest trading partner. The tariff rate is a significant drop from the 30% outlined initially on July 12th and the 20% proposed on April 2nd. Trump stated that the EU will not impose a tariff on U.S. imports, describing the deal as, quote, satisfactory for both sides. Investors will assess a slew of macro and microeconomic indicators this week as the Federal Reserve interest rate decision, along with second quarter GDP data, is going to be released on Monday. So as we just covered here, really, really busy week, whether it's economic prints or earnings. Now, let's go to some insights here. The director and senior investment strategist at Charles Schwab, Kevin Gordon, highlighted that the week ahead was crucial, with important market-moving data scheduled to be released during this period. He's naming everything that I just named. According to Ed Yardeni Research, quote, naturally, the main event will be the Fed's open market committee widely expected decision to leave the federal funds rate unchanged. We are among those expecting no change. I guess just as we get really closer here, is there anyone that is expecting a change? Is there anyone on the other side of that? We are definitely, it seems that the consensus here is not expecting a change. But if you're one of the outliers, I'd like to hear about that. However, he expects Fed Chair Jerome Powell's press conference Wednesday to be relatively dovish, raising the odds of a September cut. And I think this is what most traders are actually looking through towards. Is he going to be dovish? Can we then assume that September is on the table for a cut? I'm sure we'll take a look at the Fed Fund Futures rate, the CBOE watch tool, excuse me. Quote, nevertheless, we remain in the none and done camp in 2025 for now. However, senior economist Mohamed El-Arian noted that Trump's Fed visit last week underscored differing interpretations. According to him, some viewed it as a truce, citing the president's pledge to not fire Chair Powell and his expectation that the chair would, quote, do the right thing, end quote, by cutting interest rates, whereas others saw the visit as an escalation, aligning with Steve Bannon's flood the zone strategy. Quote, they point to the awkward televised exchange between the president and Chair Powell regarding the renovation's cost as evidence for continued and clear friction, end quote. This week promises to be an exceptionally busy one, packed with notable policy decisions, major economic data releases, and systemically important corporate earnings, all set against the backdrop of seasonally thinner market liquidity. Meanwhile, Jamie Cox, the managing partner for Harris Financial Group, spoke about the U.S. trade deal with the EU. Quote, when Japan broke down and made the deal, the EU had little choice. The biggest piece in trade deal puzzle still remains, and the Chinese are unlikely to be as willing to fold. The next big durable theme in the market is security, and the EU deal only accelerates it. Now, diving in a little bit more to the EU deal, President Trump has declared a 15% trade deal with the European Union, putting an end to several months of trade uncertainty. The tariff rate is a significant drop from the 30% that we talked about. According to the report, Ursula von der Leyen, the president of the European Commission, echoed Trump's sentiment, stating that the pact will bring stability and predictability, which are crucial for businesses on both sides of the Atlantic. This, I think, is the big key takeaway here. Despite the agreement, Trump confirmed that the 50% tariffs on steel would remain unchanged. He also hinted at the possibility of further tariffs on pharmaceutical products, a sector where Ireland is a significant source. Trump has previously threatened 200% tariffs on such goods. So it's notable there. It seems like the pharmaceutical stuff isn't quite done. Will they be 200%? Doubtful. They'll likely be less than that. That seems to be the negotiation starting point, as we've seen with some of these other deals here. As part of the agreement, Trump stated that the EU will purchase $750 billion worth of energy from the U.S. and invest $600 billion into the country. The EU nations will also be pursuing a significant amount of military equipment, though the exact amount is yet to be determined. The agreement mirrors a recent trade deal with Japan, where Japanese imports will face a 15% tariff duty. However, last year, the average U.S. tariff on imports from the EU was just 1.2%. That's according to Capital Economics' chief European economist. This agreement marks a significant shift in the U.S.-EU trade relations, which have been marked by uncertainty and tension in recent months. The reduced tariff rate on the EU's commitment to purchase energy and invest in the U.S. could potentially boost the U.S. economy. However, the unchanged tariffs on steel and potential tariffs on pharmaceutical products could pose challenges to certain sectors. The impact of this agreement on global trade dynamics remains to be seen. Now, we do have some folks with opinions on this, and we're going to cover some of that. All right. President Trump's latest trade deal with the European Union is drawing sharp criticism from several leading economists who argue that it will disproportionately harm American consumers and businesses. Now, before I dive into this, it is worth noting that as of this morning, Jameson Greer was on CNBC outlining the positives of all of this. Everyone seems very happy about it, but we did find some old folks here to shake their fist at a cloud, and we're going to go ahead and read some of those comments here for you. Following Trump's announcement on Sunday, economist Peter Schiff posted on X with a blunt assessment of the deal, saying that Americans lose again. Someone should ask him how his Bitcoin predictions are doing, just to see who's actually losing here. Schiff said that under the new terms, quote, we will pay 15% tariffs to buy most European goods, but 50% tariffs to buy European steel, aluminum, or copper, driving up the material costs for U.S. industries, or we could just buy those American products. Meanwhile, he notes Europeans won't pay any tariffs on U.S. imports. University of Michigan economist Justin Wolfers echoed similar concerns while highlighting the folly of imposing trade barriers. Quote, these trade deals are all underwhelming for one simple reason, he says, and that's because trade barriers and tariffs have been tiny for decades. When tariffs are 1% to 2%, there's not much to gain from a trade war, while warning that a 15% tax on imports, however, quote, do harm a lot of Americans. Danish economist Lars Christensen pushed back against the narrative that the deal was bad for the EU and a win for Trump. He says the deal lowers EU tariffs, which he believes is good news for European consumers, while adding that it's bad for the U.S. economy. Christensen agrees with both Schiff and Walters, saying that the biggest losers are U.S. consumers, while comparing the deal to, quote, shooting yourself in the foot for the U.S., which he says is never a victory. Interestingly, he doesn't go on to cite any of this. He just kind of says it. Says, okay, here it is. The announcement of the trade deal with the EU on Sunday brought an end to the months of trade and tariff-related uncertainties with the U.S.'s biggest trading partner. Because the 15% tariff on imports from the region, the EU will also be buying $750 billion worth of U.S. energy while investing $600 billion in the United States. This is what Greer focused on this morning. Additionally, nations in the bloc will be purchasing weapons from the U.S., although no amount was mentioned. No surprise there on some of the defense spending. Meanwhile, top officials from the U.S. and China are set to meet in Stockholm to address the pressing trade issues, with Trump saying last week, quote, we have the confines of a deal with China, end quote. So that's kind of where we finish up there with the trade deals. We'll see how this all shakes out. We'll see which folks end up being right and which folks end up being wrong. Okay, folks, I told you that we had a busy week coming this week. Let me actually go back to Pro. I'm going to go ahead and get my chart tool up as well. I told you folks that we have a busy week this week, and we are immediately going to go to our first guest of the week. We are pleased to welcome back Ed Egilinsky from Direction. Ed, good morning. Crazy audio with that. I can't all, and it's like a nasty buzzing. Oh man, we're gonna have to go back to Ed. Producer, I don't know if you can help him. I don't know what's wrong with the audio there. Might try to leave and rejoin or something like that. Do me a favor, help out Ed. We got to get that audio fixed. Nothing we can do in the meantime. However, in the meantime, while they're working on that, producer, just send me a message and let me know. I do want to talk really quickly about this story here with Tesla. Elon Musk confirms Tesla as the mystery big tech that signed a $16.5 billion chip contract with Samsung. I will the line personally. He says, I will walk the line personally to boost progress there. Elon Musk-led Tesla has confirmed signing a massive $16.5 billion chip manufacturing deal with Samsung, marking a major win for the South Korean's giant foundry business as it fights for dominance in the booming AI chip market against rivals like Taiwan Semiconductor. On Monday, the South Korean tech giant disclosed in a regulatory filing that it had secured a multi-million-dollar chip production contract with the unnamed global client. The deal, which officially began on July 26th of 2024, runs through December 31st of 2033. While Samsung initially declined to name the counterparty, Musk later confirmed via X, formerly Twitter, that Tesla is the customer. Musk revealed that the chips will be built at Samsung's new Texas fab and would power Texas's next generation AI6 chip, stating the strategic importance is hard to overstate. He also added that the TSMC will handle the AI5 chips with production beginning in Taiwan and later moving to Arizona. In a follow-up post, he said Samsung agreed to allow Tesla to assist in maximizing manufacturing efficiency, adding, "I will walk the line personally to accelerate progress." So all of you worried about him being too involved in politics, it does at least seem that he's doing more focus on his companies now. Hopefully it stays that way for investors. The deal offers a potential turnaround for Samsung's foundry arm, which has faced delays at its new Texas plant and struggles with advanced 2-nanometer yields. It also comes as South Korea races to secure U.S. trade agreements to avoid steep tariffs on chips and other exports. All right, let's try Ed again here. Let's see if we've got those audio issues polished up here. I'm going to skip the intro. Let's just see how it goes. Ed, how you doing? Good morning.
Good. We moved offices.
Oh, no, there we go.
Technology.
Hey, sometimes technology is great. Other times it throws us a curveball, but we're flexible around these parts, so we can handle that. First of all, it's really good to see you. My first question here is nothing market related. Are you as excited as me for football coming back? Because it's that time of the year where I can barely contain myself.
You got to love it. I mean, college and pro football. I mean, we're a month away from college. You know, I'm counting down the days, basically. Love baseball, even support the WNBA and tennis, but nothing like football. Come on.
No, absolutely agree with you on all parts of that. I'm in complete agreement. All right, let's dive into the market because as I was saying earlier, we have a huge week here this week. I don't know if I could come up with a better time to have you on to talk about this than this week. There's just so much going on. So I'm going to start here with this. With the U.S. markets at all-time highs, are you seeing traders get defensive to kind of prepare for that?
It's interesting. I mean, the market all-time highs. Palantir going into the top 20 for market cap in terms of stocks. With the short term, of course, we have short-term trading views from our individuals. So we're recently seeing inflows into our bear funds, and we tend to see trade activity counter the market. So the recent rally, we've seen outflows into bull funds, hopefully people taking profits. And then, they could change quickly based on the market environment. We're seeing inflows into our bear funds like SOXS, which is triple leverage bear on the semis, triple leverage bear on Tech S, as well as on the broader S&P 500 SPXS, which is the triple leverage bear as well. So you're seeing some either profit taking and counter trades, thinking that the market's overextended in some cases, or some people really short-term hedges on some of these sectors and broader indices as well. You have a Fed meeting this week. I know you were touching on that, I think, earlier this morning. We're going to see a lot of activity in our triple leverage treasuries, bull and bear, the 20-plus year TMF, TMV. And, it's interesting. Market at new highs right now. Gold and gold miners, particularly gold miners this year, has doubled basically the return of gold. So regardless of what this market's been doing, gold miners, gold itself have really caught a bid.
Yeah. Now, you're talking about some of the inflows there into some of those bearish ETFs. I'll be honest with you, given the way the market has moved and with insurance kind of being real cheap right now, that makes a lot of sense to me from just kind of a practicality purpose. But interesting to also see some of those flows come out of the bull funds there. I agree with you. That definitely sounds like profit taking. So we'll see how that continues to shape up here. The other thing that we've seen here recently is a return of some of the meme stocks, right? We've seen a whole bunch of these stocks go absolutely crazy. So is the meme craze back with new stocks? And what might that signal to investors? Is that playing into any of these outflows out of bullish funds and inflows into bearish funds?
Well, I don't know. Maybe me shopping at Kohl's and having some more donuts has helped some of these meme stocks for sure.
The dork trade, as they say.
Supporting that trade. But, in all seriousness, The sentiment is certainly risk on. There's complacency in the overall market right now. The VIX is trading at 5-month lows around 15. When you look at the NASDAQ, for example, 10-day vol has been the lowest in years. Bitcoin near all-time highs. So when you look at this market right now, it's not only risk on, it's just complacent. I mentioned before Palantir. It's one of the few areas that we're seeing in terms of our inflows. Palantir at record highs, and we continue to see inflows in our 2x bull on Palantir PLTU.
Okay, that gives you. I like the comment there on the donuts and coals. It's like a blast from the past there. Palantir, this continues.
Extra large for me, as you can say.
Me too. Palantir, this just continues to outperform here. I know there's a lot of talk here about, well, Palantir, the fundamentals don't line up. It's priced too high. It's too expensive. That really hasn't seemed to stop traders. I'm entirely unsurprised to see that these levered vehicles are also in play here. Shout out, our chat also likes trading some of these levered direction vehicles on some of these high flyer stocks. So really good stuff there. Okay, now the big question, the big $64,000 question, it has to do with some of the specific earnings that we're seeing this week. What are some areas to focus on going into the Mag 7 this week? So that, Microsoft, Meta, Apple, Amazon, what do the flows say about what traders are doing?
Well, you got double M starting on Wednesday with Microsoft and Meta. I think Google set the stage for earnings on the Mag 7, got it off to a good start. In terms of the CapEx spend, Google increased that. I look at that as a positive. Even the Mag 7 collectively, which has underperformed most of the year, is outperforming the broader market month to date. So if somebody wanted to play the Mag 7 equal weight on a short-term basis, 2x bull or inverse 1x bear, we got QQQU on the bull side and QQQD on the bear side. But what to look for this week? CapEx spend, what they say about that, the AI progress and monetizing of AI, forward guidance, of course, the cloud and servicing business demand. Right now, what's going on with the U.S. On AI security concerns and how much they restrict China, that's an ongoing thing. How might that affect some of the earnings here? The one outlier is Apple. iPhone sales and playing catch up with AI. How is that stock going to react? Because it has been one of the worst performers of the Mag 7 this year. I'll exclude Tesla from this conversation because I don't consider it a pure tech play.
Okay.
But with these stocks, there's always headlines. They're the most widely held and traded. Valuations, you mentioned this. At some point, are they going to matter? All of the stocks that are reporting this week of the Mag 7, excluding Meta, have a PE of 30 or over, and they're not growing even close to that. So the multiples right now are a little stretched in a number of these stocks reporting this week. And of course, we have 2x bull and inverse 1x bear of each of these versions of the Mag 7. So we tend to see higher volume as we go into earnings this week, and also post earnings, people reacting to it by trading the leveraged and inverse single stock. By the way, the leveraged and inverse single stock franchise right now is approaching 10 billion. So there's a lot of interest there in trading both the 2x bull and inverse bear of the 21 pairs we have of stocks.
I'll tell you what, it seems that every day more and more folks like trading some of these ETFs, whether it be for the liquidity or the exposure to just one particular name with added leverage or an exposure to a basket of names to remove it, whatever the reason is. We see more and more of that picking up here. Really good to see. Okay, the other thing I'll hear about Amazon, this is actually something that we've been covering for, I think, like 2 weeks now. This is actually, the chart here actually shows that this has a potential ascending triangle and a potential breakout through 215. So part of me wonders if some of those ETFs to the upside are going to get some action here ahead of that report on Thursday. We'll see how it shakes out. And then what do you see? I know you briefly touched on Tesla there, saying it's not necessarily part of your Mag 7. What do you see on the fallout post earnings for Tesla here? Pretty interesting chart as well, to be honest.
Yeah, it's interesting because you look at the earnings and the forward guidance and didn't exactly exude confidence from my standpoint. Yeah. They once again were below estimates on the top and bottom line. Cash flow is depleting, although they say they have enough to implement their current initiatives, but they're losing market share, particularly in China. When you look at it, there are some positives with more affordable models coming to the market. But the biggest things, this has always been a story stock to me. Robo-taxis in San Francisco popped the stock. This morning, getting chips from Samsung potentially. Right now, I think there's more style over substance, but we'll see. Musk is polarizing. The stock is always one of the most widely traded. Our TSLL, which is the 2X bull on Tesla, people continue to buy on the dip with that. They've had plenty of opportunity, unfortunately, this year with that. TSLL is the largest inflows we've seen year to date. And with the stock, once again, sold off a little bit post earnings, and then it's rallied a little bit over the last Friday into today. We'll see what happens there. But there's still challenges with the stock and the current administration, the lack of support of EVs relative to other types of cars, particularly hybrid or gas.
Do you have any, just kind of off the cuff, do you have any thought on the potential of the Optimus robot going forward? Does that factor into your view on Tesla at all?
Well, I think you have to look at them. Robotics is definitely an area that people look at when they assess Tesla, the charging stations and how they monetize that. So I think you got to look beyond the car itself of the electric vehicles when you look at Tesla. And I think that's one of the reasons why the stock trades at a multiple it does.
Yeah.
Right now. I mean, to me, it's more about the potential of what could be than what is right now.
Okay. Yeah. That makes complete sense. I think that's the calculus that all the traders are trying to do. How much is this actually going to be? How much impact, is this actually going to have in the future? People are placing their bets. Okay. On to a different car maker here. Can you tell me why Direction decided to add Ford to the single stock lineup for ETFs here? Ford, a stock that really just kind of seems range bound, doesn't really move a whole lot. I understand, great American car maker, very popular name brand here, but what went into that?
Well, when you look at it, there's a lot of interest in Tesla. So we wanted to have another stock in the automaker space, but one that might be a little more of a traditional automaker. But at the same time, a low-priced stock as well, because we tend to see more activity in lower-priced stocks in general. People like to trade the leverage off of that. So there are a number of factors there with Ford. Plus, we wanted to also have people maybe trade arbitrage opportunities, be long the traditional maybe automaker or short the EV maker or vice versa. So now there is a way for people to trade not just the outright stocks themselves, but also now to play on maybe one type of automaker being more focused on EVs versus another one more on the traditional side or hybrid. But FRDU is the 2X bull. FRDD is the inverse 1X bear. So we've seen some interest in it right now, more on the short side than the long side, but that just launched last week.
I was going to say these look like new issues here, so that's great. Thank you for letting our group know here. 2 more leveraged ETFs for you folks here to play. And it seems like that's a pretty good decision there, right? Almost like a diversification move away from one of the high flyers like Tesla to a more traditional automaker like Ford. That makes a lot of sense to me.
Yeah, okay. Keep in mind also I just want to add on the F-150, a lot of the people, especially in the Midwest, the trucks, one of the more popular cars in the U.S. or trucks in the U.S. And also Ford is a player in the hands-free driverless space with their Blue Cruise, and they're looking at autonomous vehicles as well. So keep an eye on them also in terms of those inroads.
Okay. All right. Really good stuff there on Ford. Last question here. With the U.S. dollar index coming off the worst first half performance in 50 plus years, what markets might benefit from this? Where can we look to actually get some money?
Well, certainly the commodity markets. A weaker dollar supports higher commodity prices in general. So you could play either the pure commodity, or if you want short-term trading, a buy play of that, like the energy stocks, for example. We have ERXERY. A lot of your listeners trade that. That's the 2X bull and bear on the Energy Select Sector Index. We also have the S&P Oil and Gas production index, Gush and Drip, which are probably two of the more better named tickers that we have in the energy space. I mentioned gold miners and junior gold miners before. The 2X bull and bear there in terms of Nugget and Dust, JNUG and JDust. Then the foreign equity markets. This year, when you look at the MSCI emerging markets or the FTSE developed Europe, they are far outperforming the US. Now, barring any major hiccups with tariffs, that should be a tailwind for foreign equity markets. So we're seeing interest in the triple leverage bull and bear on the MSCI emerging market, EDC and EDZ, but we're also seeing individual countries in the emerging market space. Even Korea, which has struggled a little bit, now is starting to rebound. South Korea, KORU, which is the triple leverage on South Korea. And of course, what's our most popular emerging markets in terms of trading? China, it continues to be the story. The yin and yang, the triple leverage bull and bear on the FTSE China 50. So those are just some areas as well as some individual stocks, multinationals like Apple. Apple reports this week. Maybe they get a little bit of a tailwind as a result of some of their international revenue streams and the weaker dollar. So AAPU on the 2X bull side, AAPD on the inverse 1X bear side.
Okay, really good stuff there on Apple. Got a quick question here from one of our viewers. Do you have a waste management ETF yet?
No, we do not, but always can email us on interest there. There are a number of areas that definitely have been an area of focus for us. Data centers, for example, the energy complex, different ways to play that through data centers, for example, utilities, which we do have now, but more focused on data centers. We've heard about European defense, for example, especially over the weekend, the announcement there with the EU and US. Look at defense stocks today. We have DFEN, which is based on the Dow Jones Aerospace and Defense. So there are a number of areas we're always looking at that could have some potential for us. But at the same time, we want to make sure there's underlying liquidity there. And the breadth of the stocks, if we do it through an index, could at least stand the test of time, so to speak.
Okay, awesome. Appreciate you answering that. Yassine, really good question there. That would be awesome. Sean is suggesting maybe Soprano for a 3X bull waste management ETF. We'll see how that shakes out there. Good stuff there, Sean. I got one quick question here for you. What are your thoughts on small caps? IWM, what happens with the market? Maybe how to play that. Any thought on that on the back half of the year here?
We're looking at short-term views. Small caps have underperformed for a long time. Every time you think there's going to be a sustainable rally, people get disappointed. If interest rates don't get cut this year, which I still think there's a chance they may not cut this year, I just don't see small caps leading the market. I think you need rate cuts for that to really trigger a sustainable rally there.
Okay, and it almost seems like the market's actually waiting to, hey, why don't you show me one of these rate cuts instead of talking about them first? Then we'll talk maybe about small caps. Okay, that makes a lot of sense. Ed, really, really good stuff. I can't thank you enough for taking time on a Monday morning here to go over some of this with us. Awesome. Every time that you stop by here, your direction products are popular amongst our group of traders, and it looks like there's an appetite for even more. So really good stuff. Keep up the good work. And we'll look forward to following up with you when football season actually starts. Remind me again, are you a Jets fan, Giants fan?
I'm from New York. I guess I've always been contrarian in some ways. I'm a Cowboy fan, so I'm sure a lot of New Yorkers right now are not going to be happy with me. But the way the Cowboys look, even the Giants might have hope this year, maybe of finishing ahead of Dallas. So we'll see. That's not a prediction, though. I don't want to go on record on that.
No problem. Totally off the record. I would imagine you probably get the business from your Giants fans being a Cowboy fan there, but that's just how it goes. That's what makes it fun. Ed, once again, thanks so much for your time. All right, we'll check in with you next time.
Enjoy, guys.
All right, that is Ed Egilinsky from Direction Shares here. I think that we probably trade these ETFs more than any other ETF out there. Really good stuff. And you heard it directly from the people working there, where some of those flows are going, where you can take advantage of this, and what they're adding. Really, really good stuff there across the board. Lynn says, I like the Cowboys. EKS says, go Cowboys. Okay, so Ed's not alone. That's good, but I am worried about him and his Giant fan friend base that he has around there on the East Coast. Okay, real quick here, how much time do I got? We got just a couple of minutes before 13, which is really good because I do have a little bit more news to kind of go over real quick. There were two things that I wanted to talk about real fast. First one here is regarding Bitcoin and Ray Dalio's view on it. Ray Dalio says 15% in Bitcoin or gold may be essential as fiat currencies face devaluation. Is just right here off the top, my own kind of opinion on this. I still think that there's more capitulation on the Bitcoin trade. There are still some folks out there that think it's a sham and it's going away and this and that. And I think that capitulation that eventually you will see is still another upside. Let's call it a tailwind here for Bitcoin. But billionaire investor Ray Dalio advised a 15% portfolio allocation to Bitcoin. This is notable to me because anyone that has a long track record on the street, they've really said never more than 2 to 5%. Dalio telling you here 15% portfolio allocation makes a lot of sense to Bitcoin or gold. That's the caveat there, some way to kind of offset the fiat. Citing mounting U.S. debt concerns and potential currency devaluation risks, Bridgewater Associates founder warned of a classic devaluation scenario similar to the 1970s or 1930s in an appearance on the Master Investor podcast, where fiat currencies could decline against hard assets. Quote, if you were neutral on everything and optimizing your portfolio for the best return to risk ratio, you'd have about 15% of your money in gold or Bitcoin. Dalio expressed a strong preference for gold over Bitcoin. There it is. No one's surprised on that. Previously describing the precious metal as, quote, the purest play, end quote, of a stored value. Gold currently ranks as the second largest reserve currency globally after the US dollar. The billionaire holds both assets, but maintains significantly larger gold positions than Bitcoin allocations. There we go. The veteran investor highlighted critical fiscal challenges facing the United States federal government. Federal government debt stands at 125% of GDP, with the fiscal deficit reaching 7% of GDP, the highest among industrialized nations. Dalio proposed a 3% solution requiring immediate action to reduce the deficit from 7.5% to 3% of GDP through combined tax increases and spending cuts. While acknowledging Bitcoin's perceived value as an alternative money with limited supply and global transaction benefits, Dalio questions its effectiveness as a reserve currency. One more thing here. I know we had talked a lot about Chinese stocks. We actually just covered some of that there with Ed. One more thing here on Amazon and Temu, how Amazon's price war is crushing Temu's U.S. comeback. I know we've kind of talked about this before. Temu, tied to PDD Holdings, ticker PDD. So PDD Holdings owned Temu's efforts to rebuild the U.S. retail strategy after Trump's administration's ended duty-free imports from China. As Temu shifts towards sourcing from U.S. suppliers, it faces a significant hurdle. Sellers won't undercut Amazon on branded goods, fearing the loss of visibility and sales on the e-commerce giant's platform. Several U.S. vendors have warned Temu that it must offer materially different products as Amazon aggressively matches or beats prices and controls the buy box, a critical driver of purchases. That's reported by the Financial Times. Amazon's ability to absorb losses and maintain low prices give it an edge that smaller rivals like Temu can't match without burning billions. I think this is a calculated plan from Bezos. Temu's pause in U.S. ad spending earlier this year after dropping $1.4 billion on Meta, Facebook, and Instagram in 2023 led to a sharp decline in engagement. The number of monthly active users on its U.S. app plunged 54% between March and mid-July. Although it resumed advertising in late June, the platform remains defensive. With limited control over pricing and increasing pressure from Amazon's vast seller network, Temu is now exploring alternatives like off-brand or returned inventory, bulk discounting, and lower fee seller incentives. But unless its parent company, Pinduoduo, is willing to sustain steep losses, analysts say Temu must take a smarter, more differentiated approach to survive the U.S. market squeeze. Beyond direct competition, Temu's woes are compounded by evolving U.S. trade policy. The White House's decision to terminate the de minimis rule, which previously permitted tariff-free imports valued under $800, has stripped Temu of key cost advantage. This policy shift directly impacts Temu's U.S. daily users, which plummeted by 58% in May, according to Sensor Tower data. Okay, really good stuff there. Got through the news, talked to Ed. We're just waiting on 13. Now we can start diving into what we're going to see here today. So you know what we're going to do? We're going to start with some tickers. Oh, never mind. 13 just joined. It's as if he was listening out there. We'll check in and ask him if he was listening to us. 13, good morning.
Hello.
Were you listening to us?
I heard that you were, going to look at some tickers, and then it was supposed to be me that comes on next. So I was like, oh, I guess I better get ready. So I just made it before you moved on.
So there we go. 13's always got his ear to the street for us. Really good stuff. Well, let's dive into some of those movers there, and then we can take a look at anything you folks want to take a look at.
Sounds good to me. Hope everybody had a wonderful weekend. Let's get into it.
Okay, perfect. Let's take a look at the movers. These should all be in play here today, or at least we'll see if they're in play here today. I'm going to start with the big one, vape.
All right.
Ticker VAPE. This is CEA Industries. This stock was about what? Just shy of $9 yesterday. Thing popped. I mean, is this right? All the way up to 172, just a massive, massive move there. It's come all the way back down here. It's sitting at 49. We've got the VWAP at about 63. So we have an incredible range here. CEA Industries and 10X Capital, with the support of YZI Labs, announced a $500 million private placement to establish the largest publicly listed BNB treasury company in the world. Okay, so we're going to add vape to the altcoin treasury watch list here. Quick look around the horn on vape. We've got 0.14. Yes, 0.14% of the float shorted. So that is pretty much negligible. One day to cover, obviously, on that pitiful amount. The big thing here on this one, this stock on average trades 6.6 thousand shares. That's right. 6,600 shares is its 100-day average. Be very, very careful with this. Although we have traded 3.3 million here today, it's imperative that if you are going to trade this, you make sure that you have an exit plan and do not deviate from your exit plan, because if you get trapped in something like this, you might not be able to even exit your position at the price you're looking for. Float on this stock, 809,000. So we do have one of those micro floats, sub 1 million shares. What do you think here, 13, on ticker VAPE?
I think this is going to be one of the first crypto treasury names we're going to look at this week. I didn't really know anything about this company before. I think I had seen the ticker, but didn't think anything of it. It's like, oh, another vape company, right?
Same deal. I've seen the ticker. I wrote it off as a vape company. Didn't really look into it anymore. Subsidiary is focused on selling environmental control and other technology services to the controlled environment agriculture industry. The company provides integrated mechanical, electrical, and plumbing, as well as engineering design, proprietary and curated environmental control equipment.
Sounds like indoor farming, but I think it's kind of more along the lines of an indoor cannabis farming operation or hemp or whatever. But anyway, it sounds like it's to me it's indoor farming type. But the important news today here is that private placement that's going to raise capital for not only cash but for the BNB crypto treasury they're going to do. Additionally, they also have potentially 750 million that could be attained through the exercise of warrants. That's assuming that they all are exercisable. They have cash. They're not quite profitable yet. I think they only lose about a million a quarter at this rate. Yeah. So when this offering goes through, they'll have plenty of cash on hand. They can continue burning it away, do their crypto treasury or whatever you want. But as we've seen before with a lot of these crypto treasury names, these don't stick around too long, at least not for now. So I don't know that we're going to see 189 again today. Maybe, but I wouldn't bet on it. Just keep in mind, it has a very low float, so it could come back up into some higher double digits. But first thing it has to do is it has to get past this trend line that if you want to draw, you can see that we're trying to get over it right now. And even after they accomplish that task, the price accomplishes that task, we have to get through VWAP. Currently dealing with the 65 EMA and some of the other smaller time frame EMAs, but that trend line, the VWAP, all the other moving averages, it's all kind of right in there in the same location right now. So until we start getting through all of that and away from it, it's looking like we're going sideways or maybe even lower. So I just need to see some movement through this trend line and VWAP as we head into the open.
Okay. Yeah. Really good stuff here. So good digging in this. Day trader saying the low share structure makes me think an offering is likely.
Oh yeah, it probably. So, I mean, well, here's the thing: the news is literally about the offering.
How much volume were in this early AM candle? So here, if I actually go to a 15-minute here, I can give you that 15-minute, that first candle here, that like for really that first impulse candle that we had here, 500 and just about 517,000 shares. The next impulse candle that took us up to that ridiculous high that I don't think we're going to reach here again today, that happened on just about 400,000 shares. So with the first two big candles, which are clearly the biggest, we were just shy of 1 million shares here on Vape. Really good breakdown on this across the board here. I would be very careful with this one. It's going to be thin. It's going to be spread. It might move in very, very crazy fashion. It is worth noting that the one pop that we did have here took us to the VWAP, but we were unable to hold it, and we came right back in to where we've kind of settled here at about $45.
Yep.
Okay, so there we go. Looks like several of you are already calling lower on this one. There you go. Good stuff. We'll see how Vape ends up shaking out here today. That's ticker VAPE. And no, it's not a vape company. They sound like they grow cannabis indoors.
They did just recently, I don't know if it's a merge or what the situation is, but they are now part of, or Fat Panda is now part of them, which is I think it's CBD or some kind of vaping company. If you look at Fat Panda, you can see that it's that business.
Okay, so. Yeah, I like this. Beth here saying, "Don't get smoked by vape."
There you go.
That's it. We're gonna move on from vape here, at least for right now. Okay, next one here is going to be ticker CELC. This is Celcuity. This stock popped just as high as $60 where it came from about 15. Celcuity released top-line results from its PIK3CA wild-type cohort of Phase 3 Victoria 1 trial of Gatastolib plus fulvervescent. No, that's wrong. With and without Okay, I'm not even going to try the drug names because this is a complete embarrassment and not something that I want to do on Monday morning. So this is basically a Phase 3 trial for breast cancer here. Stock is popping 206%. By the way, Smoke Tuna, you remind us all the time. So far, 200% runners, and we got a third here banging on the door of joining that club. So we'll see where that ends up going. But anyway, CELC here looking like you're getting some data out of its Phase 3 trial for a breast cancer for a couple of different drugs in here. Also, Needham reiterated a buy and maintain the $29 price target. So keep that in mind. Stock's up $28 and change here today in a 42 handle. And we have a price target down here at 29. Quick look at the short interest on this, 7.18% of the float shorted. So there is something there, although it's not huge. The days to cover, though, 11.5. That days to cover comes on an average volume of 208,000 shares. Today, we've traded 6 million. So although the days to cover is high, we traded quite a bit here today. I almost wonder if there's some squeeze action going on with this one. 13, what say you?
If there's going to be some squeezing happening here, it's going to be on 33 million shares. The company does need cash, even though that this Phase 3 result is very encouraging. And the drug Victoria 1, it's used in these breast cancer trials. That actually has FDA breakthrough therapy designation. Even still, the company does need cash. I haven't seen any offering filed recently. And I'm sorry I didn't, dive deeper to see if they had anything else going on, but it does look like to me they're going to have to raise some capital at some point soon. So I think that's the big risk here with CELC today. As we look at the chart, it does start it's looking like it's starting to begin to curl over here. And if we lose VWAP, I would expect that loss to continue to go lower as we head into the open. But if it manages to find some footing toward the open as we head lower, we might see a bounce at the open. But for now, I think I'm just going to be waiting and seeing what this one does. I anticipate it's going to lose its VWAP or test it very soon.
Okay, yeah, I think you're spot on with that. We're actually less than $1 away from testing that VWAP. We'll see if we do break that to the downside. I've got the VWAP here at 40.75, and it does look like the price is rolling over for where it's been trading sideways. So we'll see if we end up breaking through that to the downside. Okay, the next one here is the one that is flirting with 100%. In fact, it just printed it right there, 100%. V-Wave, ticker VWAV. This is Vision Wave Holdings. Stock was $235 yesterday. Looks like it traded up and tested 5 here today before turning around. Vision Wave secures up to $55 million in growth capital to scale AI defense solutions, including $50 million equity line and $5 million in convertible notes. Okay, my first reaction to this without knowing anything else is that, boy, that doesn't really sound like a whole lot for the AI thing, given what we've seen from some other companies, but I'll let that one breathe. Quick look at the short interest on this. I don't have any. I actually don't have a float reading. I've got a total, as of the last print, which was fairly recent, by the way. I don't think we covered this last week. We got a new short interest data print that is effective as of the 24th of July. So we're only 4 days stale on that. Keep that in mind here. We did have 32,280 shares held short. And I don't really, do you have a float reading on this by chance?
12.36 million.
Okay, so the short interest here, based on the float that 13 just gave you, pretty negligible. I would say the days to cover is negligible here. On average, the 100-day average volume for this stock is about 483,000 shares per day. Today, we've traded 17.5 million, so quite a bit more. 13, what do you think here on ticker VWAV?
It's a bit of a new issue here. Didn't have this one on my radar. And also, this is something that is only about 2 weeks old.
Yeah, I was going to say, this is a fairly new issue, so I understand if you don't have a whole lot on it.
No, I really don't. And but just look at the price action we've had so far. It does seem like 350 was kind of the big level to get over, as it was having trouble with that on its IPO. Just couldn't really stay above there. So I think as we come back down, because it looks like that's what we might end up doing today with this one, if it can't hold on to VWAP, I would look at 350 as a support area. That just seems like, and I don't know if it's going to hold up, but if we do get the descent, which I expect we will, I would be looking at 350 as support and hopefully turn it around and give us some more trades. But if it doesn't, then it is what it is. We'll just move on to something else. But I think if it does come down, 350 is where I'd be watching for support.
Okay, 350 support level. VWAP here at 416. The high print is $5. Pretty outstanding volume here today. We'll see if we get another push from this one. Does look like it's backing off of that high 5 print there. Also should be worth noting, we'll watch the volume here, see if it contracts or expands. Really quickly here, VisionWare Holdings is engaged in revolutionizing defense capabilities by integrating artificial intelligence and autonomous solutions across air, ground, and sea domains. Its innovations range from high-resolution radars and vision systems to radio frequency sensing technologies are seeking to redefine operational efficiency and precision for military and homeland security applications globally. We talked a little bit with Ed this morning about defense spending really kind of kicking up. We saw there was some mention there that the European Union will likely, in addition to buying defense from their own companies, they will also do that from the American companies as well, although no amounts were outlined in that. Part of me wonders if this could kind of trade with that theme, but at 13, as you mentioned, this is kind of a new issue, so we'll have to watch it and see how it trades here today. Did back off that 100% that we were kind of teasing earlier, holding here at about plus 80%.
Real quick, because I was kind of asking myself, well, do they have any military contracts? Because that's where this is geared towards. It looks like they are actively pursuing defense contracts, but I don't think they have any. They are engaged with the Tier 1 defense manufacturers and national security programs across the U.S. and allied nations, with several pilot programs and technical evaluations underway. So they are getting looked at, they are getting evaluated, but I don't think they have any active contracts right now. And one of their near-term priorities is to pursue active defense contracts with U.S. agencies and the Golden Dome initiatives. So maybe they're going to be part of the Golden Dome, but I think they don't think they have any contracts yet.
Okay, really good stuff there. Next on the list is going to be CRVO. This is Servomed. This is one that we've traded before a number of times before off of the relative volume scanner. You can see what types of moves this thing makes when it catches some action here. Servomed, this did trade above 16, although it's come back in, lost its VWAP sitting there at 13.95. What's going on with this one? Servomed announces 32-week data from Redwin LB trial extension phase showing a bunch of another drug's sustained effect on slowing clinical progression in patients with dementia and Lewy bodies and associated reduction in key plasma biomarker of neurodegeneration. So you're, again, getting some good data there. D. Borrell maintaining a buy on Servomed and maintaining a $10 price target. Stock's already $13 here today. So quick look around the horn on this one. Short interest, 1.9% of the float shorted. It actually looks like the high short interest that it used to have was kind of cleaned up here. 1 day to cover. That comes on average volume of 206,000 shares, so not really highly traded, although today it's traded 6.3 million. Float here, 5.8. 13, what do you think here? CRVO.
So this is for their neflamapimod drug pipeline, and that's with dementia with Lewy bodies. This has a FDA fast track designation, and this is one of, it looks like 4 trials that they have going on for this drug. There's 2 that are ongoing. That's the phase 2 that we just talked about. There's another one, phase 2A, for recovery after ischemic stroke, and then there's 2 other phase 2 trials that are ready to start. So when I take all this together, it sounds like it's going to be very expensive. Let's look at their cash. They lose about $5 million a quarter, and they've got 10.5 that plus 24 million in short-term investments that usually gets liquidated into usable cash. So it seems like they're okay there for now, but I wouldn't be surprised still if they did some kind of offering in the not too distant future. Don't have a whole lot there otherwise in the company. Let's look at the chart and see what we can get from this.
Yeah, the one thing, sorry, 13, the one thing that I've noticed here is that often when it has these violent moves up, like we're seeing here today, it does pull back in short order before possibly running again. I'm curious to see what you have level-wise.
Well, again, with the VWAP, that's got to be the thing that needs to get back over if we're going to see some more upside. Otherwise, it looks like this thing's going to be dripping lower. Maybe until we get down to around 11, where the 65 EMA is. That looks like a good area of support. Just in the price action we've had this morning. Looking at a daily chart, let's see, we are at almost 13, so that puts us up about here. So this area 13, if you look back in May earlier this year, that was about the site where we got rejected last time. And this time before that was up near 17. So I would draw on those levels as upside targets. To get over it. And if we can start closing over 13, we'll probably have some more upside ahead of us. I'm talking about 5-minute candles, not daily, but 13 looks like the big level to get over here.
And it certainly looks like 16 is about the top end of that range. I mean, I guess you could say 20 on some former resistance areas, but it sure seems like that 13 to 16 area is pretty significant.
Yeah, so for now, I think I would just be keeping my eye on 13. If we can hold above that, it looks like we just moved over it in the pre-market here. And if we can continue to move higher, I'd say, gosh, that's a really stiff level for this for the price here. Yeah. I don't know how much more we're going to get out of this, but I do like your $16 level. Let's say if we do get some more upside, I think I'd like 16, and then we'll see what happens there.
Don't look now, but 16 looks to be the top end of the range carved out this morning in the pre-market by the impulse candle. So maybe that'll come back into play here. Okay, keep moving on here. SMX is going to be your next one. This is Security Matters. This did actually have a pretty good day on Friday. Pretty nice little run on some pretty extreme volume. Now we are taking the next leg higher here today. It looks like the top end of that about 340 here. It's opening the sustainability market for Gen X and millennial investors. Probably we're going to have to read through this one to see exactly what that means. Let me do that here in a little bit. I don't necessarily want to just read it with you. Go ahead. If you've got something, go ahead.
It sounds like this is supply chain tracking. That's kind of what it looks like to me.
Okay. To support its ecosystem, SMX recently launched SMX Treasury and Asset Holding Company Limited, a wholly owned Irish subsidiary that allows the company to expand its sustainability-linked infrastructure across both operational and financial use cases. This isn't a symbolic treasury play. It's a structural mirror of SMX's mission, linking value, integrity, and accessibility on every level. Okay, let's take a quick look here at the short interest. 4.54% of the float shorted. This comes on an average volume of this comes on a days to cover of 1. That comes on an average 100-day volume of 2.1 million. Today we've traded 29 million. Float here is 3.6 million. What do you think?
I think I would need some more time to really look at this thing and understand what it is that this really does. It does look like they are some kind of tracking, supply chain tracking and shipment tracking company. But you throw in this crypto treasury thing, and then I just, my mind's just like, okay, well, it could be anything now. I don't have a whole lot on this. Let me see here. So we have
here's something else I can add to this.
3.5 million float. Let's go ahead.
Here's something else I can add to this. This thing, all it does is reverse split.
Yeah.
So going back to 2023, in order, starting with 2023, we had a 1 for 22 reverse. In 2024, we had a 1 for 75 reverse. In January of this year, we had a 1 for 28.5 reverse. And then again this year in June, about the middle of June, we had a 1 for 4.1 reverse. So this thing constantly diluting itself, or constantly issuing our reverse splitting. If you take a look at the daily chart, this becomes very, very apparent. It was never this expensive. Careful with this one.
It's never, I mean, well, I don't want to say never, but in the past 3 years, it hasn't had revenue. It just loses money. So that makes sense for all the reverse splits, and they probably do capital raises quite a bit as well. I guess if we're going to try and trade this, I want to see a recapture of the VWAP. That's all I want to see. If it does anything else, I probably don't care about this.
Okay, I've got that VWAP at 291 and the pre-market high at 336. Those would be some of your upside levels.
I know, Jay. Fundamental analysis.
Well, it's so out of favor with everything going on. Okay, you guys are really quickly mentioning AIM. It has news breaking that is related to Alzheimer's. So here is your AIM chart. Looks like this thing moved from about $8 to a high of $35, pulled back here to a $23 handle. Let's take a look and see what the news is. AIM Immunotech announces mid-year data from a phase 2 Durapanic trial of Amtigen and AstraZeneca's other drug in metastatic pancreatic cancer patients. What did you have on this? Sorry, 13?
Oh, I was just bringing a sigh of relief because I thought you were going to say it's going to raise capital for a crypto treasury.
Well, I did not say that.
I know, but I was holding my breath because that's all it seems like we get these days. Either biotechs that are having some kind of announcement, or crypto treasuries that you with companies you never.
Or in the rare case, a biotech that announces something and uses proceeds into a crypto treasury strategy, which is just absurd. Okay, quick look around the horn here on this one. 1.17% of the float shorted here. This comes on 1.67 days to cover, but that days to cover comes on a ghost town of a stock here. 13,700 shares is all you get on your 100-day average. Today, we traded about 400,000. So I understand that the news just recently broke, but still understand that this stock much less voluminous than some of the other stocks that we trade here regularly. So 13, you got any thoughts on this one? Levels, thoughts? I understand if you don't.
No, I have a couple. Just I saw that they had a Form S, but that's an offering to employees for benefits. But it's still, the company still needs to raise capital unless there's something that I'm missing, and I don't have time to go back and look and see if they raised capital since their last earnings report. But their balance sheet doesn't look great. They're losing money. They almost no revenue whatsoever. But this thing is now up off of around $8.50 now, looking at $25. So
correct.
There you go. Now let's see here. The next level I would think that we could see resistance at maybe $27.75, $30 after that. Those are just levels I'm pulling off of the daily chart. I don't know where this will end up going ultimately, but those would be the next resistance areas, and then we have a whole ton of areas we can look at on the way down, starting with looks like $20.50 is one area that could find support. But I don't know if this is the one that we want to trade, but if it sets up some nice opportunities, sure, we'll hit it.
So Jay says AIM just did a 100 for 1 reverse. That's interesting. I actually don't have that here in the splits calendar. The last ones I have are from 2019.
Low float, yeah, almost 700,000 shares.
Yeah, but that would be no bueno there. That'd be no bueno there on that.
Well, they're going through all the steps. They just reverse split. Guess what happens next? Offering.
I was going to say share dilution is what happens after they do that. Okay. Next here on the list is going to be MCVT. This is Mill City Ventures, I guess the third. This did have a big move there on Friday. It continued that in the after hours. It tried to continue it again here in the pre-market, but it looks like reality might starting to be set in as this thing is really kind of pulled back near the closing price from Friday. We go to the news on this. Let's see we did have some more here today. Let's see. Mill City Ventures announces a $450 million private placement to initiate a SUI treasury strategy. Okay, I actually do own some of this coin. And now we're seeing a treasury strategy with that. So we'll add that to the altcoin treasury watch list. 13, ask and you shall receive. We didn't give it to you on the last stock. Now I'm going to give it to you on this stock. By the way, AIM popping now on the biggest volume candle of the pre-market. So AIM currently moving. We're going to keep breaking down MC. What? Sorry.
It's looking for 36 again. That was the high on the last impulse move about 10 minutes ago. It's looking for it right now.
Okay, we're going to keep breaking down MCVT here. Quick look around the horn on this one. Short interest of 1.83% with a days to cover of 2.26. That comes on an average volume of 1.88 million. The float's 2.7 million. Today we've traded 13 million. So 13, what do you think here?
Let me go back to that 5-minute chart because that was looking a little bearish there. Because the move came on Friday, right? The big move in the after hours. That's where we got most of our. Oh, I'm sorry, I'm wrong. We had a higher print in the opening here. This looks a little bearish to me, like it's kind of topping out, and it's resolving lower since that price of where is this, up in the 1250 area. If this cannot get back above, I'd say 850, it's likely going lower. Let me look at it. Let me look at a different chart real quick.
And real quick, while you're doing that here, Bob, appreciate this. AIM reverse split on June 25th. That is the 1-to-100 that Jay mentioned earlier. So June 25th, that was right there at the end of June. Really good stuff there.
Yeah, I think I would like to see this recapture 850 before I feel comfortable about wanting to trade this again, or to start with. MCVT, if this loses its 200 again, I think it's going to end up going lower, maybe even down to $6 or even lower than that. This is something that we have traded before. I've got levels down in the mid threes. But man, this does not look like a great chart from Friday to today. And if this goes lower, it wouldn't be surprising to me. It just doesn't look great.
Okay, good stuff there. MCVT, I will say that action here early does look pretty poor. Okay, we covered everything here on the list. It looks like the only other one that really moved earlier, I noticed this right when I woke up, Trug, I guess you could call it. This is True Golf Holdings, ticker TRUG. This stock was about $6, just shy of $6 last week. Traded all the way up to 11.5 this morning. And when I checked this morning, there was no news on this. Still don't have any fresh news on this. The stock is still holding higher here by 17.5%. But you can see this thing was almost a double earlier, has come all the way back in. Really quickly, just to kind of cover all the bases here. Short interest, 7.89% of the float shorted. That's 1.27 days to cover. And that comes on an average volume of 113,000. Today's a little bit different, though. We've traded just shy of 6 million. So it should be liquid today, but it's already round trip. So be careful with this one, TRUG.
And it does look like it's kind of basing. If you look at a 5-minute chart, or maybe even a smaller time frame, or not smaller, but less than a day, but still larger than 5, you can see that this area that it's consolidating in is kind of getting support from some of the price action last week. Just kind of wanted to point that out. If this continues to hold here, we might be able to see this turn around and come back up, and at least try VWAP. Other than that,
to your point, that $7 level was a resistance that it really couldn't get through. It got through it one time last week on Monday, but when it tried again on Tuesday, it really couldn't get through it. So 7 may come into play here again today.
Yeah.
Thinking about it says had Trug a while back, not my best outing. I see what you did there. Thinking about it, and I appreciate it.
And Aura Alpha, hey, congratulations on AIM. That was an awesome capture there. He might need a register ring.
Okay. Ask and you shall receive. No problem. No problem.
All right.
All right. Was there anything else on the movers here, 13, that you want? I guess we should take a look at LiDAR because this was on deck last week. LiDAR is continuing to push a little bit higher here today. Did this have more fresh news? We do have earnings in 3 days here. So I know we talked about a lot of the big stocks reporting earnings, but this one also joining in on Thursday, which we have the biggest print of the week here. They do have a PR here from this morning. AI launches Optis, a complete physical AI solution powered by NVIDIA's Jetson Orin that delivers the future of smart transportation, safety, and security. So look out, getting a PR here using one of NVIDIA's products. This is causing LiDAR to pop another 20.5% here today. It does look like we're kind of flirting with the intraday high from Friday. And I also have a key level here at 6 if it tests the pre-market high area.
Looking at the price action this morning. So first of all, I drew a trend line here from the 590 high through the high at 620, which was at 581, and we're moving up towards this trend line right now after we just passed VWAP. I'm thinking we're going to test this trend line, break through it. I'm not sure. Maybe it looks like we could, but this trend line I've got my eyes on for a test at the very least pretty soon.
Okay, there you go. Good stuff. Sweet One says some of these stocks are so bad that I wouldn't even recommend them to an enemy. Damn, Sweet One.
You're a very nice person.
Yeah, I was gonna say there are plenty of enemies out there that I would recommend garbage to. I'm just kidding. Okay, just kidding. Anyways, Sweet One, good morning. It's great to see you here. Hopefully you had a great weekend. Hopefully you're ready to go. Okay, was there anything else on the movers list 13 that you wanted to cover, or should we go to the bigger chart and take a look at stocks that folks want to look at here today?
Let's look at what they want to look at.
Okay, let's do it. Folks, what stocks do you want to look at here today? We will take a look at them. Let me find my chart tool here. Everything's all mixed up. What do you want to take a look at here today? Can't remember if there was anything given earlier. There probably was, but I didn't take.
Here we go.
SBET. We're still doing this with SBET, huh? We're still doing it with SBET. Here's a look at your SBET daily chart. Let me zoom in a little bit. You can see after that curl, we've really kind of moved back down to these moving averages. We're actually sitting right beneath the 50 here today, but still above the 20. If we take a look inside here at the 15, you can really kind of appreciate where SBET has come back in from. I would say next level down here, probably $20. It is 23. I'd watch maybe 21.5 from the Friday intraday session. What say you, 13?
Well, looking at the price action over the past few days, it looks like it might be trying to find, establish some sort of a bottom. You look at the daily chart here to see what I'm seeing here. Maybe there is a little bit more downside, but I don't want to, give any too much confidence to that statement. I think if we can recapture VWAP today, this may end up trading a little bit better because it's coming off the lows from Friday, which was 21.35. We haven't been back down in that area since then. I think if we can get above, looks to me like 23.50 seems to be one of the toughest points that it needs to recapture right now. So if we can get above 23.50, that might be encouraging for some more upside. So I think that's what I want to see here with SBET today is continue to recapture some of these older levels because it does look like it's trying to establish a base and turn around. But the boxes I need checked are going to be recapture VWAP, recapture 250. And looks like there is, from the pre-market this morning, 24 was about where it was running into the most resistance. So If we can get above 2350, I think we'll be able to take out 24. That's what I'd be looking at with SBET today.
Okay, good stuff there on SBET. Folks mentioning FIG here. FIG is not set to IPO here today. We'll definitely take a look at that again. I'm still waiting for that IPO, but that's not coming here today. So we still have some more time on that. One of the other ones we should definitely take a look at here is Open. This was one of the big squeezers, I guess, that we called it from last week. Here's a look at Open Door. This is getting a little perky here in the pre-market today. So maybe watch that. This is trading up to about the second high that it made on Thursday. That, remember, we're on the backside of the huge move that it made higher here. But I'll tell you what, this 275 area looks to be some resistance that kind of slowed it down here. Otherwise, I think this thing could probably make a run at 3 here today. Worth noting, 8 days till Open reports earnings here. We'll see if it gets any closer to that. What was it, a 1,000 bagger, 10,000 bagger, whatever, from the thesis that was shared here. It wasn't ours, but it was a thesis that was shared here. Quick reminder here, or I guess update on some of that short interest, 22.08% of the float shorted. That comes on 1.21 days to cover. Stock trades on average 165 million. We've traded 25 million today. I don't really think there's anything we can get out of that. Please remember, this is stock trades really heavy. Float here of 630 million. It is curling up here. You got any key levels for this, 13?
I think I like your $3 area. I like 290 to 3 to be a little bit
more specific.
Yeah, because you look at what happened on I guess this was Thursday. We popped up to about 290 in the regular session and was rejected. Haven't been back there since until almost today in the pre-market. Before that, the high that we had put in was in a pre-market that was rejected at 3. That was on Wednesday morning. It looks like. So I do like your $2.90 to $3 area, and if we get through that, then I think the spot I'd be looking at, because there's a lot of consolidation from about 320 to 350. I'd be looking at that area to try, but at 350 area looks like the next big side of rejection. So I would say if we can get over 350 is going to be the next big one. But that's what I'm seeing here with this one. So 290 to 3, that's going to be the first hurdle.
Okay. Good stuff here. JP wants to know, 13 seems 100x more relaxed than usual. 13, is this true? And if it is true, what are your secrets, bro?
I got 1 hour less sleep last night. There you go.
Okay. So you're saying if you want to be more relaxed, sleep less. I'm not sure about that one, but we'll let 13 go with it.
That's the only change that I made, and it wasn't intentional.
Okay. All right. There you go, JP. Hopefully that sheds some light.
Microdosing. No, it's not that. Zach is saying microdosing.
Watch out now. All right. SoFi here. This was another stock that you folks wanted to take a look at. SoFi, this actually had made a pretty awesome move higher. Does look like it kind of stalled out here at about 22.5. The fact that it's not breaking down and kicking back its 20-day moving average actually looks pretty good. This is also having an effect to kind of tame some of the overbought reading that we have here on the RSI reading. If this stock can maybe hold above 20 or 20.5 here, maybe this can trade sideways and then make another run at the 2250 upside resistance area and move higher. I guess this has been trading well with some of the financials. Quick look at this one, 12.23% of the float shorted. So still some pretty significant short interest, although it's only on 1.75 days to cover. Volume here, trades 68 million shares. We traded just about a million here today. It's got $1 billion in the float. You got anything on SoFi for today, 13?
I'm a little concerned about the price up here with, being that earnings are tomorrow morning. Usually a run up into earnings.
Didn't even mention that. Great mention.
Not something I'd like to see, especially a move like this. Now, that isn't to say that we couldn't just absolutely blast off and go to like 24, 25 on the earnings tomorrow. But I think I'm a little concerned with where this is at. It's starting to look like this movement that we've had here for the back half or pretty much 2/3 of this month has been kind of some topping out in the price. Haven't been able to get and hold above 22, and we have the 20-day SMA approaching that has been, providing support on the way up here. So to the downside, if we start losing some support, I think that 20-day SMA is going to be a spot to watch. And if we continue to go higher, well, the levels that I see resistance are going to be 22, 24 to 25. Don't know exactly where in there, but those would be, and then of course the high from July 18th, which was 22.74. So we could even say 22.75 if we want. But those would be the areas of resistance that I would see, that I would anticipate. But for me, this is I'm a little concerned about the price action over the past couple of weeks. It looks like it's kind of topping out.
Okay, so I think we would probably want this to really kind of flash another move higher or a signal for a move higher here before trying it. We'll see if it breaks down though. Okay, let's see, what else do we have here?
So we're getting a mention of MBIZ, CRM, and UNH.
Yeah, I wanted to do the UNH one.
Okay.
Because this actually applies to a couple of stocks that we've taken a look at recently. Geez, it is a Monday, obviously. Here's where UNH looks like on the daily chart. It does look like maybe we're kind of rolling over to that 248.88 bottom that we talked about initially. If we take a look inside here and see, we did pop a little bit higher here, although not higher than Friday's intraday high. And this has earnings tomorrow before the market opens. So I don't know what to expect out of this earnings. I would imagine the bar is low, but there's a lot of moving parts going on here with UNH. So unless you have some type of idea of exactly what's going to happen, I'm not necessarily sure how you trade that earnings print for more than just a gamble. Taking a look at the chart here, really want to stay above 275. Yeah.
No, perfect. 275 is what I was going to point out, because when we did drop down heavily in May, and we bounced, 275 was kind of the area for a couple of days where we were finding some footing before we came back up. So I do like that 275 area. The other point I was going to make regarding their earnings that they're going to have tomorrow morning before the bell, I have a feeling, there's no guarantee here, but I have a feeling their guidance, they may either withhold, or it's going to be so bad that it's going to take it lower. I don't know. I don't think their guidance is going to be very good at all. That would be my big thing to watch for.
Okay, and it's really been a poor guide has really been what's sinking stocks recently. Yeah. So if we see that again here, that might be trouble. Now, the other stocks that I wanted to tie this to, CNC, which we talked about last week here. CNC, this was unbelievable. A shout out to all of you. Pete, there might have been a couple of other you that traded this short term on CNC. Here we go, though. CNC, big time plunge Friday morning on earnings. Actually went green. So far, it's holding here. So here's my question. Do we maybe turn up and take out this $29.50 or $30 level? Because if so, CNC, we might go on a run here. This also healthcare, not necessarily related to UNH, but similar. And then the other one that we've taken a look at here is Molina Healthcare. This is ticker MOH. Still looks to me like this is in the bottoming process. I know it's flashing a green candle here. We went lower in the pre-market on Friday on the back of those CNC earnings. This too bounced, but I'm not sure I trust this here. This one also looking like it might roll over. You have any thoughts on either one of these charts, 13?
CNC does look like it is trying to find a some kind of footing and try to get back above 30. I think I agree with what you were talking about as far as levels go and what the price action is trying to do. Very low RSI, probably even considered oversold at this point. I think that we're going to definitely want to see a recapture of 30. We get that. I'm looking at the 20-day SMA next. We might be able to see some good recovery here. I don't think this. We talked about this one. I think Bigabees is on this one. He said that the fate of this one. I don't want to put words in his mouth or get him what he said wrong, but UNH's fate not the same with CNC. It's going to be different for them.
No, UNH 25% of their business is Medicare, I believe is what he said. You'll have to correct me on that, Bigabees, if I got that wrong. UNH, they dropped guidance and may not issue it for earnings tomorrow.
Yeah. And then he said CNC is all Medicare, but no investigations. So I think that's a big important part there.
All right, 13. I've been trying to hold on to the open here. I cannot hold on any longer. I absolutely have to go take care of my nose and go to the washroom here. So I'm going to leave. My main chart up here so I can handle the open. Hims was another stock that was being asked about. Here's your daily chart, 13. I'll be right back. Just a minute or two.
Okay, and we will have Ryan back, and hopefully in a minute, because that's when the market opens. let's take a look here at HIMS. So $60 looks like that's going to be the next price level it has to get over. We already tried that on Friday, was rejected. Wouldn't be surprised to see it get over it and make some prints there today. Whether we close over 60 or not sure. I think this was still getting hammered on the GLP-1 or the semaglutide news. If we get above 60, we still have a bit of a gap to fill all the way up to about 63. So that would be the next two things I'd be looking at here for HIMS is see if we can recapture 60. If we can do that, 63 would be the next target to the upside I'd be keeping an eye on. And I've seen you guys mention the European Union deal. That's great stuff. ASML, we'll take a look at that, but we'll probably have to do that after we open here, because here we are now open, and let's see what we got with the movement. All right, so AIM, let me go to a smaller time frame here. AIM, this trying to bounce out of the open here. Let me go to vape. That's been sideways. It's still sideways, trying to get a lift here. Looks a little illiquid as well, looking like almost $1 spread, 80 cent to $1 spread in vape. Be careful there. CELC, this is going lower out of the gate here, perhaps getting some support from VWAP, but I'm not going to lean too heavily into that. V-Wave, that tried to pop over VWAP, rejected so far. CRVO, that continued to leak down and is finding support from its 65 EMA at the moment. We'll see if it can hold up. SMX dropped and it's trying to recover, but so far is not able to recapture VWAP quite yet. And then
all
AIM,
right, thank you, 13.
No problem. And then AIM is it looks like it's aiming for lower at the moment, but might get a lift here in a bit. So a lot of these just kind of sideways.
Yep. I'm watching V-Wave here. Looks like that tried to go right at the VWAP, immediately turned around on that one. Vape here, not a whole lot of action
LiDAR.
right out of the open.
Folks mentioning LiDAR. This we drew the trend line for. We're moving through the trend line now.
Perfect.
Looking for 590. Because that was the high from the pre-market. So we're about 15 cents away from that. If we do get this 5-minute candle that we are in right now to close above this trend line, I wouldn't be opposed to having the price back test the trend line before moving higher. That would be some great price action to see. So let's see what we get out of that with LiDAR, LIDR. And yeah, smoke tuna. Maybe today's the day. Maybe it's today. Vape is halted to the downside.
Good job on warning on vape there. That was pretty early on. Had that warning there. It looks like that's rolling over a little bit.
And AIM is halted to the upside. So that is aiming for VWAP as we go into this halt. CRVO getting some support from the 65 EMA, starting to see this candle close above it.
I'll tell you what, 13, that AIM to the VWAP that you just talked about, that would actually be a pretty decent scalp here. If it does move out, I know it's halted right now, so you can't necessarily buy it at this price, but if this moves here right off $20, right to $23.68, not bad there. Not bad. All right, got to check OSRH here because Rustam joined us today. Let's see what this is doing here today. Not a whole lot. Barely hanging on to dollar territory. So this thing really kind of turned around post that spike from last week. Sorry, Rustam. You know what, though? Chewbacca's got your back, always, so don't forget that.
SBEC tanking. Not able to recapture that VWAP.
VWAP rejection, huh?
Yep. Now it's coming down to some consolidation from the after hours on Friday. So it might get some support there. If not there, then I'm looking at 21 to, I'm sorry, what is this? 150 to the bottom where it was 21.35. If we can't hold up here at this consolidation from the after hours.
Okay, real quick here. Brand new hip hop says vape purchasing 500 million of Binance is interesting. Brand new hip hop. What makes that interesting? I agree to some extent that all of the crypto treasury plays are somewhat interesting, but what specifically? I guess for the Binance coin, why that over a different coin, and what makes it interesting with that business? Just out of curiosity, always interested in both the bull and the bear case in those.
So that 500 million private placement, only 100 million of that's going to go towards the
finance, right? The
finance,
coin.
Yeah. 400 million is going to go into cash. So it's only going to be 100 million. But yeah, and I don't know anything about the crypto itself. But that's what they're going to put it towards. Smoke is saying LiDAR is 6 next. It hit 6.
And we talked about 6 being the level from the pre-market that it peaked above. So that I'm unsurprised that that's going on here. We're only 15 cents away on this one. Rustam, hey, Ryan, I live in Jacksonville, Florida. Good golf courses here. Have you been here? So I have been to Jacksonville, but I've been there before I was a golf player. I've heard the same thing. I hear you can't throw a stone in Florida without hitting a good golf course. So I will keep you posted the next time I come down to Florida. All of you Florida folk.
MCVT is getting some volume. It's trying to get hold above the VWAP and try to push towards the 65 EMA. Just thought I'd flag that because it looks like it's trying to get going here, but needs some more volume to go higher.
Also, we talked here. Nike caught an upgrade. Rooster, I know you said you want to take a look at Nike. I'm sorry I didn't get it to it in the pre-market rundown. Nike shares trading higher after JP Morgan upgraded the stock from neutral to overweight and raised its price target from 64 to 93. That tells me that JP Morgan is kind of looking through some of the tariff stuff as well and thinks that Nike is going to benefit from that. At least that's my read on it. We are getting a little bit of profit taking here, Rooster, but this basically came down and held this 78.30 level, which is where that initial impulse candle from this morning stopped at. Maybe Nike reclaims the VWAP here and makes a move towards 80. 80, absolutely one of your upside resistance areas there.
Good mention on AMD. That had a nice move out of the gate here, going from about 69 to 169 to 171 and still climbing.
13, one other thing that I said here regarding the tech names. This is one of my reads on this. We got news. Obviously, we got the EU trade deal. We got news that Trump and Xi talked and may delay these tariffs with the agreement to try to keep working towards a deal. To me, and I'd like to know what you think about this, the tech stocks are telling me that they think a deal is imminent. They continue to trade higher here. They seem to be unfazed. We'll see what earnings does. I guess that's a caveat we could throw in here. But it sure seems to me like the tech stocks are telling you, deal with China's coming here. Nobody's really worried.
I would face any deal made with China with probably the most skepticism out of any trade deal. I don't know what we're going to end up agreeing on, but I don't think it's going to be enough. So I think I'll just leave it at that.
Oh, no, that's fine. That's totally fine. We'll see what those tech stocks do. Good morning here, and that was a good mention there for AMD. Rocket getting absolutely blasted. My God, what a turnaround on Rocket. This thing was I know it was the pre-market, but it was testing 20 just last week here. Rocket still on the backside of that move. This actually looks like it might break and go lower here. I've got 14 as the next spot for Rocket. Really disappointing.
I've got the 20-day SMA coming. It's coming down to. We have earnings in 3 days, so if it can find a bottom around there, that might be a pretty good setup for the post-earnings trade. I'm still in the same boat here with having a long-term time horizon on this trade. I'm in the same boat as you. Does this selling in front of the earnings, does this give you a kind of a gut feeling that this might be negative? And I'm asking you, 13, but really I'm asking the royal you. I'm asking all of you out there if you have any thoughts on that. XXII getting mentioned here, 13's cousin, 22nd Century Group. Looks like we're pumping a little bit on that. Folks, we've looked at this stock quite a bit before. We've seen this thing trade. This thing kind of nasty. And in fact, even today in the pre-market, the 3 tests at the VWAP were not successful. Stock came back in. We're doing it again here, though. Looks like we're coming up on 4. Yeah, I mean, I'm thinking unless it had actual news, it's probably running with vape.
Okay.
Which is now open.
Let me actually. Oh, there we go. It did it. It was reading my mind. Really quickly here, Graph saying thoughts on Comcast and Nintendo World. I'll give you some thoughts on Comcast since you asked. It's the company that I absolutely loathe. I've been having a tremendous amount of trouble with one of my TV boxes. I will say, though, I brought it to them. I brought it to the store. The people that work in the Comcast store, I feel really sorry for them. They're extremely nice people, and they do try to help. And I did get my TV fixed, but I don't have a great view there on Comcast. Now, as far as the Nintendo world, I wasn't following any of that. 13, maybe you have?
Nintendo
world, do you know what that?
I don't know what the Comcast Nintendo world, if there's some kind of deal. I don't know what's going on with that. I'd have to read into it some more.
Okay.
Nintendo
Really quickly on that, just because I don't know about it either. Graf, can you share anything on that for 13 and I to check out? Yeah. Sorry, 13, didn't mean to butt in there.
No worries. I'm just going to mention that so far the Switch 2, we have one. It's been fine, but there's just not a lot of games for it right now. And until that problem gets sorted out, it's I don't know about the stock really doing a whole lot. I mean, it's been kind of fluctuating around the low 20s lately, but I feel like it's kind of just spinning its wheels until we get some more titles and whatnot out there, because I'd have to read the article, because if there's something more exciting than what's been going on lately with regard to that Comcast deal, then I would have to look into that and give you my opinion on that. And I just don't have much more right now.
And that's fine. Look, if you don't have an opinion, that's fine too. I'd rather actually think about it than say something that's worthless. E-Rock, good morning. Good to see you again. SMX making its way back up. Indeed, we actually took out the VWAP here on SMX. Now we're testing 3. Let's see if we can get above that and hold.
LiDAR.
Go ahead.
Over 6, popped up to 637, starting to put in a series of upper shadows. We'll see if this continues. If it does, it might come back in. But so far, nice move through that trend line we drew.
Okay, good stuff there, and good job identifying the trend line. Sweet One also hitting this one here. Sweet One, I almost wonder if you have lived in Chicago at one point. You can't live in or near Chicago and not hate Comcast, I'm pretty sure. Fact check true. I don't know anybody in the area that has pleasant things to say about Comcast, Sweet One. So I think you hit that one right on the head.
Is the Nintendo World you're talking about the actual one at Universal Studios? I've been to that. If that's what you're talking about, I'll have to see what the article's referring to. But I've been there. That was fun. Fun day with the kids.
Okay. Real quick here, Jay Wild. Good morning. Great to see you. Welcome back. Hopefully all is well with you in your corner of the world.
Getting a mention that Open wants to pop.
Well, we did see Open curling up in the pre-market a little bit here today.
Yeah.
Okay, you know what though, 13? Now we got a trend line. Now we got a trend line to watch here on Open, using the candles right here from the Open, no pun intended. We'll see if we can get above this trend line here. 280 and change is going to be that pre-market high level.
And it just hit it and was rejected. That's
Yep.
Interesting. Now here's what I want to see next. If this continues to go lower and test that 65 EMA, I'd like to see it do the same thing that it did in the past 10 minutes, where we did dip beneath it but came back up and closed above it. I think a third time doing that might lead to a break over this trend line. So we'll see if we end up getting that price action. Have to hold that 65 EMA, get back above the VWAP, and then break over this trend line.
Real quick here, Hood, we mentioned this earlier. They're going to report on Wednesday after hours. They were higher here today with the rest of the market pulling back off of this. Hood basically bouncing off the 105 level. Let me just ask, who is trying to trade Hood for earnings? I'm sorry about all the sneezing, but the air conditioning has been running nonstop over the weekend.
Hood for earnings? That's not me. That makes me want to look at Bull, though. Let's see. We're getting Bull down to the 16 handle again for the second day now, trying to hold above it. Just like I was saying before about this when it comes to the price action, going to get that rejection from 18. We got that. Now we're waiting for this to turn around. The next visit to 18, I anticipate we're going to see a move through it.
Okay. Real quickly, Crocodile Dumb Me saying I switched from Comcast to WOW in Illinois, which is now defunct. I did that too. Way back when I was living with my parents, I begged them to switch. Caused my dad to have to relearn a whole bunch of TV channels, which was an interesting discussion. But I did get better performance. I think there's something Astound now or something like that. ET3 saying I dropped Comcast and moved to Verizon's 5G home internet. How is that? Is it worth it? Bull, by the way, continuing the pull. We'll see if this actually breaks through 16. I've got your intraday low here, 1594.
I was just looking at
And
SBET.
really quickly, while you're looking at that, Investor Arena saying, I'm looking for a correction on Hood. It looks too extended. And this is kind of what I'm wondering. Hood does kind of feel extended. Is anyone playing maybe a regression back to the mean for earnings?
SBET down to an area where, in my opinion, we need to start seeing it turn around. Otherwise, we're going to lose that low from Friday. And
here it comes.
That could be just more downside. Vape open, trying to push higher.
I'm going to put vape up and blow my nose again.
Just opened. CELC is also trying to push higher after getting support from VWAP. Needs better volume though. And Open Door, that was an ugly rejection, and it got even uglier, going down to the 200 EMA now. Wow. NVIDIA on breakout scan, says Billy. As soon as Ryan gets back, we'll have him pull that up. They just had Google Fiber in your neighborhood. That's pretty cool. I thought they weren't going to roll that out anymore. I thought they stopped doing that, but that's cool that you got that. Really wish they would do that in my area.
Vape coming right up to the VWAP here.
We were, gosh, what was the one that we were just talking about? It was starting to move. One second. NVIDIA on breakout scan to Billy F. So I told him we were going to have you bring that up. So
NVIDIA? Sure.
NVIDIA, yeah.
Yep.
So that looks like it's printing a new all-time high. Knocking on the door of 175. Matter of fact, 175.37 was the all-time high. Looks like a lot of these names are going to be heading lower. CRVO is getting a pop here, trying to push through some of these these EMAs, trying to capture 1260. Vape is halted again to the upside.
I guess we shouldn't really be expected with that having as micro of a float that it does. We did end up going through that VWAP, so cha-ching, that worked here. Now halted above that, and we do have expanding buying volume, at least on the chart here.
SBET is reversing.
Is anyone in vape? Is anyone trading vape up there? Zane and Rustam, I think we're both asking about Saidu earlier. I'm sorry I didn't get to that right away. Saidu is going to be one of those Saidu space stocks. This thing getting pummeled here. Trading lower after the company announced a $7.5 million public offering. So I think the question here is, now that the offering is out of the way, is this a potential bounce play?
That's up to you. For me, this is not. Sidus is more of a day trade one. This one doesn't. I don't like to buy this one and just hold it, waiting for a PR to move it up. This is not one of the stronger space names, in my opinion. It's got some great news, but the fact they're still having to do these offerings isn't great to me. I feel if you want to try and do it, that's up to you for a bounce. But I think there's some other space plays that are better than Sidus space.
Okay,
it's just that I get the question. It's just with this opportunity, but look at what this company's done over the past, and you can look back at least a couple of years and see what the price action's been like. It might make you think otherwise. Just saying.
Rocket on that sell-off right out of the open. Looks like it's stopped at least temporarily. I guess we'll wait and see what the earnings say there for Rocket. What they say and their look ahead might also be telling, especially with Rocket having short interest in there. I think if they have anything really positive in the outlook, that might actually send Rocket higher than the day after. We'll see, though.
Open really fell after testing the trend line that we drew, and it went all the way down to the 200 EMA, where it got some support. Trying to recapture the 65 EMA right now on its way back up to VWAP. Needs better volume than this. So we'll have to wait and see. But the next time it comes up to the trend line, we'll have to watch for a breakout. And
Open pretty much round tripping that pre-market move on Open.
CRVO held above its VWAP. It's now coming up to that $13 level where it was going sideways all morning. So if we can move through this, and we'll look at the next level, but which I think we might see a move up to 14.20 if we can get above and hold 13. Hold me.
That's from Star Wars, but it also reminded me of Thunderball. Okay, really quickly here. Jay saying the dollar up a little, bonds are down, interest sensitive names are weak. Jay, does that tell you anything about the FOMC meeting coming up? How are you looking at that for the rest of the week here? I guess maybe you're just looking at it today, which would make sense.
LIDAR is also LIDR is also still trying to push up over 640. I did get a 644 print. No closes above that level yet.
Tell you what, this LIDAR, this was a good move here. A number of you folks calling the move here today. And then, of course, from last week, as we continue to break that trend line, this thing, nice little swing here. For those of you that are in this and or swinging it, what is your upside target here on LIDAR? Or are you doing a trailing stop method as it continues to push higher here? 7 actually kind of looks like it's going to be on deck here, don't you think, 13? 711, I have a high. This goes all the way back from 2023. We're currently flirting with this consolidation area. Maybe we can break and go towards 7. We'll see.
That'd be nice. Looks like there's a large concentration of sellers at 650 though. So if we can get through them, then yeah, I'd be looking at 7.
Mama Bear wants 8 on LIDAR. Mama Bear, I hope you get that. Jay saying, no, Ryan, I think it has more to do with the trade deal. The euro is down on that trade deal. Good stuff there on LIDAR, folks. Give you a register ring on that already, as that's made a good move. Don't let that one go red on you. Smoke Tuna telling us that, hey, this actually might continue for a few days here. Izzy, good morning. It's good to see you. Izzy, did you buy the Amazon dip here today? I know Amazon's got earnings coming up here today. I'm just kind of curious as to how you're looking for that print. Looks like we had a little bit of a pullback here, pretty much right back to the VWAP. I don't know if this is going to have continued strength here. And frankly, market continuing to pull. Actually, S&P looking at a green to red move here potentially if it doesn't hold. Pretty much right at unchanged. Several of you folks are mentioning Tesla here. Haven't seen anything crazy in the options, although that dip initially was bought. Tesla here, 321. I got to think that your high, this 322.5 to 323, this is likely going to be a potential resistance area here. We'll see if we can get above it. Izzy saying yes on Amazon. Is that yes as in you bought it here today, or are you looking to trade that for earnings? Let me know.
There is a massive drop in LIDR. What just happened here? Offering maybe?
This basically was a pull right to the VWAP. Actually, it looks like we gave the VWAP up here.
Yeah, I don't see anything coming across the news yet, but I'm sure we will.
Yeah, here it is, up to $75 million on common stock. So you got this form here, form 424B5.
Okay.
Looks like it's up to $75 million on common stock.
There you go. I was looking for an S form.
Okay, so Tuna, then I know you had said this may move for a couple of days. Part of me wonders if this is actually going to stop that. Did this get halted? I think my signals.
Yes.
Halt tool. Yes, this is halted to the downside here, 565.
Yep. So let's see.
Thank you, Izzy. Sorry, 13. I totally didn't mean to run you over there. Izzy, yes, you did scalp it here today, but Amazon too high for an earnings print there. You know, folks, for those Wednesday and Thursday earnings prints, maybe keep that in mind. We might want to ask Anne Marie about that when we have her on tomorrow. Good morning, Trout Bum, if I didn't say good morning to you already.
V-Wave is making a move through VWAP. Look how they massacred my boy. Oh, man.
V-Wave here approaching that 404 VWAP test coming up.
Yep, looking for that. Let's see what else we got moving here this morning. Vape is trading lower. That just unhalted, I think. CECL, this has been going sideways all morning, as has SMX, but that's looking like that's going lower. CRVO still getting support from the 65 EMA, but riding the VWAP still. AIM, that's halted to the downside. That looks like that could go lower. MCVT printing new lows of the session. And SBET still trying to get support from that, down around that 2135 area. 2150 is the low prints there.
All right, just taking a quick look at the heat map here. It looks like the strongest sectors so far are going to be information technology and also energy. So that's kind of what I'm seeing here. I guess consumer discretionary also a little bit strong here today. We'll see how this changes over the course of the day here. S&P futures did in fact bounce off flat line right there, so they were able to stay in the green. Dow has since moved red. They're down 0.2 here. NASDAQ also still green. NASDAQ the strongest of the group here today. Tesla continuing to make a move towards the pre-market highs here, and Netflix, as Izzy is mentioning here, looking like that might be trying to take out 1200 to the upside.
And we did get some news about how Elon's going to be using Samsung for their next series of chips. So they use Samsung, they're using TSMC now, and then they're going to go back to Samsung.
Yeah, and really quickly, just as a reminder, Musk confirmed the massive $16.5 billion chip manufacturing deal with Samsung. That ticker SSNLF trades OTC.
And that's those chips are going to be coming out of a fab that's being built out here in Texas.
He said it's right close to his house, so he'll be able to check the line himself.
Yep, because he's already got authorization from Samsung to be a part of that efficiency in their chip manufacturing. So we'll see how that works out.
Okay, so V-Wave here flirted with 4, couldn't really get back above that VWAP. Not breaking down, so might not be over yet. S&P futures or S&P here, actually S&P futures also the same, right at unchanged. Dow continuing to push negative and NASDAQ still holding up.
So I guess everybody's just kind of waiting for this week to play out, huh? I mean, there's a lot of stuff coming out this week.
It does seem like, it does seem like a lot of kind of like waiting for some of these things. Mm-hmm. I'm just hoping we get some follow through on it.
Yeah. No, LiDAR's still halted, so we'll see what we end up getting on halts. Probably going to go down to 5.
Pete, what's your gut on this Samsung deal? You're mentioning it's a nice long-term deal as it runs through 2033. You got a gut feeling on this one? Good, bad, negative? CELC, how's that doing here? That was one of our bigger movers earlier.
It's still in that same sideways channel that it's been in ever since the impulse move. So either we need to move away from VWAP to the upside and towards 50, or this thing's going to lose VWAP and we're going to go down to the 65 EMA. Yeah,
hasn't lost VWAP yet, but boy, it sure looks like that test is coming here. The volume really contracting from the open. I'm looking at this pre-market high here. I have that actual high of just shy of 49. Realistically, it sure looks like 48, one of those spots to move through. Brent saying 46. 46 is going to be that intraday high. I know we printed above it briefly, but we basically just peaked above it. So maybe 46 and 48 there. Yeah, which one?
AIM open and lower. It might halt again to the downside. So I think this might be the third halt to the downside now with AIM.
Okay, I'll tell you what, this AIM chart, this just looks bad. Maybe there's a trade here. This is not one that I would try to take the risk on. Pete, my direct question, here's the direct answer. I think it's good for consistency. We're only on AI4 now, so that gives a solid source through the next 2 AI car computer iterations for Tesla. It's a solid deal. Okay, that's actually really good insight there. And the market telling you that they like it too, right? Tesla moved lower and pretty much bounced back to the pre-market high area. Anthony says AIM is aiming too low here. Anthony, I can appreciate that. As someone that really does enjoy dad jokes and then tells them here, I can appreciate that. LiDAR still halted here, 565. We're waiting for a resumption on that.
That's their first halt, right? So that should be resuming soon.
It should. I've got it up here in another chart. So even if Signals doesn't report it right when it's open, I'll keep my eye on it for us. I'm sorry about my nose, folks. Today's the hottest day here this week in Chicago, so I'm hopefully midweek here it cools off a little bit, and I don't have to run this every day.
Look at SoFi. This dropped out of the open and went underneath VWAP, and now we just recaptured it after about 25 minutes.
I'm sorry, which ticker? 13?
SoFi.
SoFi.
They report tomorrow. It looks like this is trying to curl back up and go towards the open again, where all that supply is. So if this comes back up to the 21.25 to 21.40 area, I'd be looking at a little bit of slowdown in the price action. It's going to have to chew through some supply in order to go higher. All right.
22nd Century Group, that pulled off. Still can't get above the VWAP there. NVNI, this is a penny stock for the penny players here, maybe 65 and 70 on that. V-Wave here right back at that VWAP there at 402. Actually looks like we're trying to move through it as we speak.
SoFi's the devil, Brent. Don't touch it then. Stay away from the devil.
Sweet one saying, I miss having family in Wilmette and sailing the lake. Chicago is great. You know what's crazy about that is that I don't know anybody. None of my friends were into sailing. I know it is actually pretty big here, but I didn't know anybody that was into that. It does sound a little bit interesting. I was in Winnetka this weekend, and man, it was hot, but it was gorgeous. Jay saying, Ryan, where's Skokie's Country Club? In Skokie, I think. I've never played there. I've never been to Skokie's Country Club. That's in Glencoe, though. Oh, I bet that's really nice. Never played there, though, Jay.
I got to say, I'm really surprised that Vape isn't giving some more trades. You see the volume that we're trading these 5-minute candles on? It's nothing. It's, I would expect with a float of around 600,000, 700,000 shares would be moving a lot more than this. But I guess all that movement happened in the pre-market.
Vape here, really the VWAP telling the story. I know it's thin, so I know it likes to peak above that, but take a look at this, man. As soon as we moved through that VWAP, it was met with immediate selling pressure, moved back beneath it.
And then V-Wave, this continuing to recover here from the open, back up to the opening price now. Looks like 440, that area is going to give it some trouble. I see a seller at 425 that's in the way. We can get through those. We'll look at towards 5 again. Still moving up, chewing through some of these levels, looking good. But there's a
LIDAR open now here. LIDR Signals got it, so it looks like that's caught up here. LIDAR moved lower and broke 5. Yep. This is actually testing the pre-market lows now.
Yep. Looks like it's going to go down to the 200 EMA around 470. I mean, that's the next level I have anyway. Unless it recaptures the 65 EMA.
Izzy saying, Ryan, taking my son to a national card show in Chicago this weekend. A card show, eh? One of my coworkers is really into that. Where's it at? No promises, but maybe I'll meet you guys out there.
V-Wave blasting off right back up near 5.
LIDAR broke 5. Looks like it's moving lower. Here's your V-Wave chart. And indeed, 5 is going to be your next spot there, 13. That was where we stopped in the pre-market. Good job for all you V-Wave traders. Ring that register. Let's go.
And so V-Wave looking good. Let's see if we can find another one of those. So far, not looking like there's much of anything right now. What's SoFi? Maybe SoFi could be, well, I don't know. Maybe the volume doesn't look like it's where it needs to be quite yet, but not bad either. Would like to see, I still want to see SoFi recapture that area I mentioned earlier. We can look for a better trade after that.
I just saw, I beg your pardon, HNST, the honest company on the scanner here. Jay Rice, I think you mentioned this earlier. I apologize that I couldn't go to it here. It looks like we had a little dip and then a bounce. What's the deal here on HNST, honest company? I think this got mentioned. Digitally native consumer products company that makes purpose-driven consumer products and demand for all people.
LIDR trying to get a bounce here. It moved up off of the 486 low that it printed. Now it's trying to recapture the 65 EMA.
By the way, seeing SBET puts go off here. These were 41 puts. I almost wonder if that's taking gains here as we're 20 points below that strike. That was a big one. That actually reminds me of what was it, CEP, that had that huge move higher, and then it gave us a really good trade using options on that. Even I was able to hit that one.
That was back in April, I think. Right?
Yeah. Yeah, Jay, let me know what the thesis here is on HNST.
I'm just kind of keeping an eye on some of these. It looks like they're trying to turn around. Just need to see some follow through on these moves. Wow, V-Wave with a big move all the way up to 530 before pulling off of that. Nice stuff.
Really quickly here, national show, 100,000 people there. It's 300 famous athletes. I bet that costs money to get in. Let me know where Rosemont. Oh God, that is down the street for me, Izzy. That is down the street. And yeah, 3D, appreciate your support. You do a better job than I do at this. Like and subscribe. It really helps us. Let's exploit that algorithm as best we can. Appreciate you, 3D.
Absolutely. Looks like AIM is trying to turn around after hitting the 65 EMA. Needs to see better volume than this if we're going to go higher.
I was going to say, do you trust this one at all?
I'm just throwing out what I'm seeing here. Whether they want to take a trade on this or not is up to them. It just halted. So can't do anything with this right now anyway. But if this does start coming back up, there's a bit of a supply area from about 1750 to 21 to be mindful of. And still looking like LiDAR's trying to go back up to VWAP, but having a hard time recapturing the 65 EMA.
Good morning, Robert. Great to see you.
Hey, Robert.
Great to see you. And I did notice, Robert, now that you're here, you're mentioning SMCI. I actually did notice that this was on the relative volume scanner here today. A nice little move as we just moved moved up right out of the gate. Again, this kind of fits into my technology stock theme that to me kind of tells us like we're going to get a deal with China in the near term.
V-Wave, this on the daily chart, this looks like it's probably on a recovery move here. I don't want to say like for sure that this is going to recover over the next several days, but just the way that this price action is and taking other indicators into consideration, it looks like it's trying to recover. Needs to get back above the 15 EMA on the daily chart.
Rocket with a nice bounce back here. SMCI continuing. Thank you, Jay. HNST. Oh. I felt that cough coming on. I didn't want to do that. HNST, hearing from social media that the woman liked this company. What? They are very close to making money. Mini Elf, I suppose, right? Okay. So this looks like almost like a cosmetics company there. And it's very, very close to actually making money as opposed to burning money. Interesting. So this is a swing long for you, Jay. Do you have a price target on that?
SBET trying to turn around, trying to recapture VWAP right now. It's currently printing above it, but need to see this candle close above it.
Rat saying, good morning, delayed a little bit by a bullfrog in the pool the size of a small rabbit. I got to ask you, did that scare anyone in your household?
Bullfrog in the pool. You got yourself a pond, sir.
We have a pond and a pool. Pond would be good for you.
SBET still getting some activity here. Moving up further up above the VWAP. Still want to see this close above it, though.
Rhett says it only scared me. Well, I appreciate the honesty there. Laura in Florida saying, Elf gave me a sty from their eyeliner.
Ooh.
I can't relate to it, but it sounds bad. I almost wonder if the Honest Company making their products with better ingredients might help that? ? Just speculating. Hang on one sec.
No problem. Getting a question about if Open still has legs. You know, I don't think it. I mean, right now it doesn't look like it has legs. It hasn't looked like it really has had legs that much this morning. But I'll say this: if it can, continue to not go any lower than where we've been trading at today, and it can recapture VWAP and hold above it, I'd say that you might have a much better chance of there being legs on this than not. It needs to get above this trend line, needs to get above VWAP. If it doesn't, I think it goes lower. I think that's what I'll leave it at. It's got to do that. It's got to get above VWAP.
SBET bouncing here. Empyrean, good to see you here this morning.
Yeah, SBET does look like it's turning around. Still need to see this candle close above the VWAP, though. What happened to nuclear today?
Did those get hit like SMR and Oklo and all that?
Oklo is okay. So Oklo is coming down off that trend line. Our wonderful trend line that we drew. Let's see, SMR. That down more. So that one also coming off of a trend line that we drew. Actually, it opened above it, and now it's coming beneath it.
Oh, Oklo, we have this topside, another topside trend line. That's right. I forgot about that. I think I lost some of my drawings there. You guys are saying SES has news. I saw this one on the scanner earlier. I didn't check out the news for it, though. SES, this is actually ripping higher here on some pretty good volume.
They had earnings?
SES had earnings this morning, indeed.
Even though it says that they have it 7 days from now?
Yeah, and they actually confirmed it. They went early. Oh, nope, excuse me. This was a preliminary outlook here. So they will actually confirm that earnings. That was a good catch there.
Yeah, and they gave us all their guidance and everything. So I guess that kind of means that when they do have earnings, the reaction is going to be a little less volatile, I guess. I don't know. It seems like a lot of the news we'd want out of the earnings has been given to us today. We'll see that.
X Sniper saying, take a look at V-Wave's address on Google Maps. Is it like is it concerning? Is it like a trailer?
Is there a guy waving?
That would be something else. V-Wave did actually break that 5, went towards 6, couldn't quite get there. It's backing off that high now.
I swear, if there is a guy waving at the V-Wave address, I'd have to just buy a share just for the fun.
Just because it's funny?
Just for the fun, yeah. Vape, still kind of bouncing around this sideways price action, or the sideways consolidation channel. Above VWAP now, halted at the same time. Large amount of sellers at 60. There have been claims that Open is the next Carvana. Does it have that much short interest? I know that's one of the reasons why Carvana was ripping, it was like absolutely shorted to hell. This thing has got 22% of the float shorted, so it could be a little squeezy, but only 1.2 days to cover. Open now heading lower.
Did anyone catch Kramer's F-bomb on CNBC before the market opened? No, I actually did not have the volume on there. Did he do? Is that because of his calls being wrong, or what happened there? Do we have any context around that? Really quickly, by the way, LiDAR, next leg down here. So it does look like that LiDAR trade is probably over now. Grats to anyone that hit that earlier. Hopefully you stopped to keep yourself safe on these volatile names that we trade on a regular basis.
Oh, that's a good thank you thinking about it. Open has the same CVNA guy, Jackson, behind it.
Yeah, that's that Eric Jackson. That's the thread that Jay shared the day that came out. He sent it to me, and I sent it to the group here. I don't have it handy, but I do remember that. VIX, by the way, did climb here today, 1541, your VIX print. And I actually am seeing some large option trades on Amazon. I didn't catch this in real time. This is just a repost here that came from Thinkorswim's Trade Flash.
Google not having a good day. I still maintain that this needs to hold above 190. Otherwise, it's going to probably turn a little bit bearish on us. Meanwhile, Vape still halted. CELC, that's making some new session lows. This might continue lower.
Sorry, really quickly here. 13, I didn't mean to interrupt you, but my producer already dug out the Kramer thing. I'll share it with the group here. It actually is kind of their reaction says everything. He's apologizing on X. Yeah, I can imagine. There you go. That clip there in the chat. 13, check that out when you get a sec here today. It won't take long. How are those short squeeze plays doing now that we've had some time for the market to be open here? Let's check it on DNUT. Up. How about that? Down another 7% here. This is actually at the low here. If we're trying to hold on to $4, the low from Friday. What else was in that?
V-Wave
open door. Yep.
V-Wave 641 now the high. This thing is probably giving the best trading opportunities so far right now.
Here we go. Right through 6. Good mention there, 13.
Aimed against some pullback. Good, because that thing was on a tear. Kathy mentioning why AI? Well, I'll tell you why. Because AI is where everybody's headed. That's why. Connexus Sports Technologies. So this is up 32%. Let me look at this on a broker chart here. So 420 is the high right now. That means that wisdom should be showing up here any moment. We had a break over 390. That was the high from Friday. So if we can hold above 390, there may be some higher prints in the future here. Let's look at a daily chart and see where else we can find some levels. So I like 525 after that. And at some point, I feel like 715 is going to come into play.
Okay. Real quick here, he caught himself. I know Kramer's apologizing right now. I'm just going to throw this out there. I really don't think that is a reason to cancel him. I hope that that's not what takes place. Just going to throw that out there.
Because he said a bad word?
Yeah, I just don't want it to get blown out of proportion. The way I look at it is it's funny. I'm sure there's a fine that needs to be paid. They'll settle that at some point. But I know we poke a lot of fun at Kramer. I definitely don't want to see him canceled because of something like that. As somebody that slips up and says stuff all the time, it doesn't always go over well. Would not like to see him lose his job because of that. Just saying.
Yeah, I mean, I'd be kind of irritated too if that's what got him off the air. I think it should be for other reasons, not because he dropped an F-bomb.
Right. And I don't know that that's coming. I'm just trying to offer support in any way that I can offer support. That's all.
Vape is open now, looking to make new session highs. It's like right at the session high from 950 this morning. That high 62.74. We are printing 60. We printed 63.20, so we did have a new session high.
Here's the key, though, 13. We saw this the last time. This thing popped above the VWAP. We really want this to hold above VWAP. Maybe then we can actually start to get a constructive long side trade here on Vape against something that we can trade it against.
Ooh, CRVO.
Here we go.
Nasty move down to its 65 EMA. This might halt it. Just cycling through these movers, and I saw that happen in real time. SMX losing the 65 EMA as well. True Golf, this thing has really done nothing but just head lower all day.
No, it hasn't. That's been a real big disappointment. TSLL on the scanner here with Tesla moving to the highs. TSLL, our direction 2x bull ETF that Ed mentioned earlier here today. 13, I don't know if you caught that segment. One of the things that Ed said is that in the levered ETFs to the upside, they're seeing a lot of outflows from those levered upside ETFs into some of the bearish ones. And the speculation there is that because there's been a move, it almost feels like profit taking with the ability to maybe buy a hedge when prices are low. So I don't know if you follow ETF trading at all, but did get that update as of this morning here.
Yeah, I mean, we've been talking a lot about how this week it could be a bit of a pivot for the market with all the different things happening, economic reports. We have, we have the right decision, Vape making new session highs. We have the August 1st tariff deadline. I mean, there's a whole bunch of things. And then there's a seasonality, which when you look at the seasonality over the past 10 years, the beginning of August tends to get really choppy.
Sideways mostly in August. Yep.
expect to see a drop initially, and then it'll probably come back up to where it was before and fall again. I mean, it's going to go back and forth. I expect a volatile August.
And then September is the worst month, with that normally bottoming in beginning or middle of October.
YYAI still looking higher for 420. And I don't have any news on YYAI. The last piece of news I have here is that they face they had a NASDAQ non-compliance notice. So let's see, what's their float at? 14 million? Maybe they do a reverse split. We'll see if that happens. What's their cash like? I imagine it's not great. Income, they're not profitable. They're not losing a whole bunch of money, but they have less than $1 million in the bank, 4 million in short-term investments. I wouldn't be surprised if they also did a capital raise after they do a reverse split.
Real quick here, good mention. Vape halted.
Yep.
Brent all over that. Vape halted to the upside, so we'll see what happens when that opens there on Vape.
I'm looking for a 74 high, 74
Okay.
high, because that's what we got in the pre-market at 805.
Someone was asking earlier about Chipotle.
Yep.
So I don't know yet that there's a trade here in Chipotle, but what I would say to that person, keep an eye on the area that we're in right now. You want some actual numbers to that? I'm going to go ahead and say 45. We're currently at 46.14. This 45 area absolutely represents a near-term support here. If we can hit that near-term support, we obviously have this gap and some potential levels higher here. If we break that near-term support, I'm almost thinking 42.5 to 42 is probably your next downside target. That's Chipotle, ticker CMG. I also haven't noticed anything that has jumped off the page here in terms of the options yet today. We'll see if that changes, though.
I like everything you just said. I think that, there is potentially more downside ahead. If there is, 42 looks like a stronger support area than 45. Jay Russ, you're mentioning and Paramount. I want to say there was some recent, maybe I'm thinking of a different company. Maybe I'm thinking of Warner Brothers. Looks like they got a downgrade. Paramount got a downgrade to sell. Now Seaport Global downgraded them to $11 price target. Any idea on the bottom for LiDAR? Let's see here.
Which was the stock that got downgraded to 11.13? I had to step away and blow my nose again. I'm sorry.
PARA, Paramount Global.
Gotcha.
Now, as far as LiDAR goes, with the where the bottom could be, I mean, I'd look at yes, that's what I was going to say, because that's kind of the bottom of this sideways price action, where a lot of that demand is. So I would think that next demand zone at 430 would be where we at least get a bounce. I don't know if that's where the bottom's going to be, but 430 does look like you're going to see buyers step in there, if at all briefly.
CELC finally showing some type of bounce move. I would be careful with this one. I would be skeptical. Yeah. If you trade it, definitely use stops. We've already seen what it can do here today. AIM, that little short bounce that we talked about, that's already gone.
V-Wave trying to print some new session highs here. We're almost at that high of 648. There's a seller in the way at 644. Big seller.
Tesla's still holding up near the highs. Netflix, after that attempt to move towards 1,200, got rejected there. That's back down at 1187.
I was looking at the large candle that got mentioned in SPY by Mike. It's a massive candle. Looks like that was a downside candle.
Here, I can put that up. We can take a look at that together.
I think it's already getting bought back up, though, so we'll see if it recovers. It looks like a 638, kind of the rejection site here this morning.
Yeah, this looks like a pull candle that got bought pretty much right back up. We're actually above VWAP, aren't we? 637. Yeah, we are.
Yeah, Jacob, you nailed it. V-Wave looks like it is trying to go for 7. We just printed a new session high in V-Wave, but it's kind of pulling off that 675 area. Does look like it wants 7, though. V-Wave probably one of the better names this morning.
SMX rolling over. This FNGR here, finger motion, this is one that we've traded before. This actually took out that first pre-market high area. Next one here, 217. I don't know if this gets rolling.
Then we
Jonathan
had-
saying buying Google on the dip. What's
Okay.
Google dipping to here? I actually like that. So here's your Google dip. Are you looking to swing this, Jonathan? Is this just kind of a short bounce back trade? This low here, it's 192 low. This is right after the day where it pulled the day after earnings. LIDR rolling back over to the lows now.
Oh yeah, might go down to 420. That's where one of the last support areas were, and then if not there, $4. Meanwhile, vape is open and looking to print higher. Still think
Perfect.
that 74 could be in the cards here for vape.
I'll tell you what, a breakthrough 75 might send that one. Again, I would just be careful on this one. It's spread, it's thin. Not the easiest trader here today.
Like butter scraped over too much bread.
Like what? Scraped over too much bread?
Butter.
Oh,
Stretched thin, you know.
gotcha.
Tell me you've
Gotcha.
watched the Fellowship of the Ring.
I have, of course. I love Lord of the Rings. I don't recall that quote, though.
Oh, that was when Bilbo was talking to Gandalf about how he needs a holiday in the beginning of the movie. Tell me, you can tell I watch it a lot.
Hey, nothing wrong with that.
Thinking about it, that's a great comment.
Yeah.
Not going to
okay.
repeat it, but it's a great comment.
He's trying to get us to Kramer ourselves.
M. Kuprop, that's right. Bilbo, that is right. Man, we're looking towards an exciting day, and it just turned out to be not that. Not too bad, but I was hoping that we'd see some more movement here. It's really just been mostly, one or two names that have been given the greatest price action this morning. All right, so Brent's flagging that YYAI is getting some motion here, getting some volume. Let's take a look. Well, it looks like it's kind of coming in a little bit. But it
looks like it took out the high from Friday and came in a little bit. Volume's still kind of low here on this YYAI. The one thing, though, is that we did have this horizontal line that we just snapped. This was, I think, 190. Yeah, 150, excuse me.
Well, there you go with vape. It hit 74 exactly, and now it's backing off.
That 74, that was also the
Yes.
standard deviation higher than the VWAP.
So that 74, man, that okay. Well, I think that kind of establishes 74 as a spot to break out of. So that's the second test. So we had one following the impulse move and the loss of VWAP. We had that 805 move up to $74, which is what I was watching. And we backed off that. Just had a 74 test again. I think the next time that this holds up here, the next time we see 74, it's going to break through. V-Wave 680 is the high. Still looking for more highs. I might even get it right now.
Apple here still staying under that 215 ascending triangle breakout level that we talked about for the past 2 weeks. Just does not have enough to do that yet. Good morning, SS.
Hello,
Nice to see you.
V-Wave again? Yeah. That's what it's doing. Looks like it's. We still want to see that move over 680. I see a large seller in the way there too, so we take him out. Where are we going with V-Wave, folks? I know that some of you have price targets.
Yeah,
where are we going with that? Do you think we'll see 10? I think we could. There's a chance we'll see 9.
I don't have any like previous price history telling me this thing's up.
Here we go, coming up to 7 now. Just took it out. Wow, what a move! It took out 7 and it popped up to what is this 730? Yeah, 723, and then it pulled off of that. That was a big move though. Just all of a sudden, vape halted down. Well, I guess that was it. 74, and that was it. But if it holds it up, VWAP. I'm sorry, if it gets support from VWAP or even the 65 EMA like it's been getting all morning. Still think that the next visit intraday today of 74, we might see a breakout there. That's what I'd be watching for. Looks like CELC is about to go down to its 65 EMA. YYAI, keep an eye on that. It's still getting support at $4. Volume's low, but as long as it holds $4, there might be another move up through 420. Thank you for that flag, Jonathan. Dallas Fed Manufacturing Index data in 1 minute.
Tesla here still holding near the highs, 325 on Tesla.
So
Vape indeed is halted to the downside there, 62.10. Nike holding higher here by just about 4%. That actually might try and test the $80 level.
Sounds good to me. And I like that JP Morgan's raising the price target. Love to see that too. Love it when a plan comes together, but my plan isn't finished yet. All right, so just kind of waiting for some more setups here. Don't see anything doing anything too spectacular at the moment. Looks like there's a lot of sideways action. Some are trying to turn around. Some are just trying to hold above certain levels. Don't see anything quite breaking out yet.
Yeah, I'll be honest with you. I don't see anything that feels great on a trade ahead of any of these big events this week.
Yeah. And I gotta just mention now, it is 10:30, so we should see some volume really start to leave the market, and a lot of these names might not trade very well until later on this afternoon. Let's keep that in mind. LIDR looks like that's making some lower prints now.
Amazon holding here at 233. See if that has enough strength to maybe rip higher here. Coin is selling off here today. Now, Bitcoin also moving down here. Bitcoin's still higher by about 1% on the futures chart, but this has been straight down all morning here. 119 is where it's at the moment.
Okay, so with coin, we wanted to see the 20-day SMA provide support. We're not getting that right now, but the day isn't over, so it could still always come back above it and close above it. But if we are going to continue lower here, the area of support that I like for coin is going to be 350.
Now, coin has earnings in 3 days. Remember, that's one of those earnings prints. So this is interesting here. I actually have this beneath the 20-day moving average.
Yes, that's what I was. That's what I mean. Like we
I see. I see. And you're saying you're looking at the closing candle by the end of the right. Got it. Yeah. Anyone tempted to trade that for earnings if it does hold this year? Curious.
Oh.
How's PayPal doing here? This is another one. They report earnings, I believe, tomorrow morning on PayPal. Yes, tomorrow morning. PayPal still holding above the 200 here. And we got some pretty good targets up here. First one, 82.5, and then we got a gap fill that doesn't fill to 86.5. Kind of like PayPal here.
I don't like the past 3 days of trading. That's those candles don't look that great to me. But
yeah, wicks on the top end there.
Yeah, but it is above a trend line here. So if we can hold that trend line, I would feel a little more encouraged. But I just don't like the past few days trading the price action. It looks like it's kind of topping out. We'll see if it can hold this trend line. I'm not ready to do anything with this yet. I think maybe for myself, I wouldn't be buying into this earnings print.
Yeah, I was going to say, I don't know that I feel great about the print itself. I like the chart though. And so part of me, the problem is that if they have a really good report, it's probably going to take off and make the chart less attractive, kind of feeling like a chase. And then obviously if it reports a poor report, it's going to completely change the way this chart looks like, as we're almost certainly going to snap to 200, but we might also snap that 75 support breakout level that we had too. So I'm kind of with you on that. I have no position for that. They report earnings, so I would have to take that here today. I am curious though how they report.
Vape is open and it's moving very, very slowly, but it's holding above VWAP for the time being. LIDR, I don't want to say it's trying to turn around. We've seen a candle like this. It only led to more downside, but let's just see what happens in the next couple of minutes if it can try and recapture the 200 EMA on the 5 minute.
Barry,
And
you do you on taking a stab at Mullen. I there's just no chance I'm going to do that. I also don't advise anybody else do that, but that's just me.
V-Wave still has that 733 as the high print. Not able to get back up there again yet. Has a seller at 645. It's preventing the upside from happening at the moment.
Kathy, good morning. LHAI, this is one from last week. Looks like we are still kind of holding in here. This really needs to move above 1250 though, doesn't it? LHAI.
Let me take a look here.
I'll be right back 1 second.
It's got AI in the name. No, it's got AI in the name. So what, 1081 is the high now? As a matter of fact, in the pre-market here, 1097 was the high. We're almost there. And that seems to be a bit of a resistance area going back to Friday, ever since the price lost that. So let's see what happens at 11. That might see some resistance. 1090 to 11. That might be a bit of a resistance area. I don't see a lot of sellers in the way. So I could see how this could break through it, but just based on the price action we've been getting for the, on Friday and in the pre-market here, it seems like $10.90 to $11 is a bit of a resistance area. We'll see.
All right. Sorry about that, 13.
No problem.
Mullen is the furthest thing from a real company. Yeah. 22nd Century not doing much of anything. Finger Motion did set some new highs there. Let's see how did AIM do? Nothing. Yep. What was that?
We were getting asked about Merck and Company, MRK. They have earnings tomorrow before the bell, and I guess we were just getting asked about what we think. We just recently had a Silver Cross back in June, so that's encouraging. If the earnings are good, one thing I'd like to see is to, at the very least, test the 200-day SMA, if not go through it. That would be beyond 90 and 68 cents. But it does look like it's trying to curl and start a recovery here. So we'll just have to see what the earnings give us. But it does look encouraging. It's not overbought or anything like that. It's certainly making a turnaround here. But to me, it looks like that $90 level is going to be an area of resistance.
Yeah, I would say 88 to 90 based on a previous high back from 2020. But yeah, I would agree with that spot.
Sounds good.
V-Wave took out 7, still holding higher here.
No, Tom, because I don't think the CEO of Mullen rolled anything downhill and tried to call it a working vehicle.
He rolled his stock price downhill.
Yes, but you can't drive it, or can you? No, I get what you're saying. It probably is a total scam, just like Nikola. And I'm sure Tesla is like, you keep that man's name out of your damn mouth. Wow, LHAI just had a nice move through that resistance area we were just talking about. Big old move. 1134 now. So let's see where this goes next.
Here.
All right, so since we're off, if we can get okay, there's a seller right there at 1166. If we can take him out and hold above this area, I'd be looking at 12, I guess somewhere between 1260 and 13 as the next area of resistance for LHAI. I don't think we should look at finger motion anymore.
Is it causing too much trouble today?
I want to be part of the conversation, but I can't.
EAF, this is that Graph Tech. This is that little guy that Jay had mentioned a while ago. This another high here today. This is still working.
We did get a nice session. I guess we could even call it a session double bottom here in SBET. This might turn around and go back above the open where we around $23. SBET not looking bad with the price action it's been having this morning. I think if this double bottom holds up, we're going to see 23 again.
Scrolling through some of the news here to see if I missed anything.
Keep an eye on YYAI. It's getting some support around, from the $4 level. It might go on to try to test that 420 high again. Coin turning around after 377. Okay. CRVO, do you think it will recover? Let's see what CRVO is about here. Is that the correct tip? Oh, no, here we go. Sorry, this took a second. Okay. So we had, so this had phase 2 news. It popped that up above the 500-day SMA. And we also got a print of, a high print of, what is this? 1313 before it sank. I don't know about today, if it's going to recover. I think that what I would need to see, and this is an area where it's been having the most trouble with, is holding above that 500-day SMA for longer than 3 days. I don't think we've really seen too much of that. We've gotten it once back in April, and we just went right back beneath it. I need to see a sustained hold above the 500-day SMA. That would be the big thing for me. Also, there's a bit of a trend line we can draw with this one.
With which one? Sorry.
CRVO.
Let me get that up here real quick. Didn't see it on the scanner there.
Oh, we were just getting asked about it in chat. This thing is pretty extended. It ran up all the way over the 500-day SMA on the phase 2 news, and it's got an RSI of 76. So it's okay if this is going to come back in and cool off for a little bit. But that 500-day SMA is the big level that I think we need to start seeing the price close over, and then it could trade better.
And what value is that at?
I have that at 1095. Also,
okay.
Vape is recovering here. Might try to print some highs over 74.
All drones down today. Is there any news? I didn't see anything on that. There was nothing specific to Ondas here. Let me check RCAT as well. I don't think there's any news on that. Just seems like a sector-wide pullback.
We might halt here before we get that breakout in Vape. Just to let y'all know, if you're trading this, we might halt here in Vape. Yep, there it is. Now,
good call on that, 13.
There's no guarantees it's going to happen, but when we come out of this halt, there's a chance this might pop over that 74 level and then come back in. So let's see if we end up getting that. I don't know if you're anybody that's in this, just be careful with it. This is a third green candle inside of what could be a bar hold pattern. So that means the next one could be pretty red. Just be careful and have your stops ready with Vape if you're trading this. Lots of ceasefire talk. Yeah. Well, I mean, I think
that's referencing the drone theme.
Oh, yes. Gotcha. Okay. Because that was, we had just had Cambodia and Thailand do a ceasefire recently, right? That's what one of the things. And then, of course, well, how does that affect I don't think the Russian.
I think correct me if I'm wrong here, J. Michael, but I think your read here is that because there's so much talk of ceasefire and less talk of actual continuing battles, then drone warfare likely on a pullback, right? Am I reading that correctly? That's kind of what it seems like. By the way, what happened with FCX here?
If that's what he's saying, I can understand that. FCX, well,
I would still say if that is the case, that represents only a temporary pullback.
Well, so with FCX, I mean, this could be on what you were just saying about a China deal being near. So that would mean, probably cheaper or less tariffs on rare earths and other critical minerals, copper being one of them. I don't know if that's what gave it the pull here, but I would, think it's something along those lines. Did go all the way back down to the 500 and the 50-day SMAs before it got a bounce. Let's see if it can recapture the 20. That's FCX. All right.
Just kind of thinking, it's all right. Just kind of thinking through that drone question again here. Some of these have really kind of made a move. It looks like maybe the chart's just kind of cooling off. I don't see any like outsized volume that would make me think anything's really changed there. It might just kind of be a quiet period, if you will.
I was just going to mention V-Wave, just as Jay Walker and Rooster were also talking about it. That's trying to push up here. We're above 7 now, trying to push up to that 733 high. We just lost 7. What we don't want to see is to have a double top here. That will signal that a reversal is imminent. But if we take out 733, then the next spot I'd be looking at would be 9. All right.
Rocket with a pretty nice recovery. I know we talked a little bit about that power down candle right out of the open on Rocket. This has since gone red to green, and we're basically retraced almost that entire move down here. So pretty good ahead of earnings. I'll take that, 13.
You just see that recapture of 15.
Yeah, and we're 3 cents away from that.
Looks like AIM has been getting the support from a 65 EMA since all morning, really. It's trying to turn around here. This doesn't have a lot of volume, so don't know if it's going to end up happening. But if this manages to move through the 9 and 15 EMAs, the VWAP would be where I would think the next area of rejection is going to be. Still waiting for a vape to unhalt.
LiDAR basically held the after hours lows from Friday.
Yep, that 420 kicked in. Still waiting for wisdom. And looking like the 200 EMA at 470 is the next big area it has to get over. But as these smaller EMAs move through the larger ones, it tends to trigger more selling. So if it can't recapture before the 9 and 15 moves through, I think there'd be some more downside coming. All right, so V-Wave new highs, 743. You guys on V-Wave, well done. So Smoke Tuna, with that 420 LiDAR bounce, are you looking for a reversal here? Or do you think that we're going to see some more downside? LKNC still going strong. Is that looking? What is that? What's LKNC? Is that looking?
I think so. Okay,
yes.
NCY, right? That's the Luckin Coffee on OTC.
Mm-hmm. Don't like that it lost to 20 and hasn't been able to recapture. This doesn't look like a great pattern to me. But I would say that as long as it holds 36, there's still the potential for it to go higher. But 36 is kind of the line in the sand for me.
Weekly Tesla 330 calls getting bought here on a Monday. That looks like just a short-term upside trade here on Tesla. Pretty aggressive in the buy there, but not huge.
UNH green to red, big of bees. I think we knew that was coming. Thank you for flagging that.
Let's see, how did the rest of those do? Like CNC from Friday? CNC actually looks like might want to roll over a little bit. And then MOH, Molina Health. It's down 1% here. This looks very similar to CNC.
I'm a little disappointed that CNC is not a machining type of company.
Yeah, that would be pretty perfect, wouldn't it?
Vape opened and hit 77. Here we go. And it backed off at the same time too, but it's still hanging out here at about 73.
This thing still spread, what, $1.50?
It's very spread.
It's extremely spready.
But we got what we wanted out of that halt. It popped up and sold right off. But it's still hanging out here around 72. So don't know which way it's going to go right now. But for the purposes of that halt, I think that trade we got. $77 is the high in vape.
Albemarle, this on a huge pullback here. They have earnings here in 2 days. So they report earnings on Wednesday after hours, and then the conference calls the following day. What was that, 13?
A lot of these short squeeze names have been pulling back. And and what's interesting about ALB is, I don't know if you've had the trend line on here. I think we drew it together, but it was rejected at the trend line and went on to lose the 200-day SMA. We're coming down to the 20-day SMA.
Where did that trend line originate?
That started from December of 2023, drew through the high of May 15th, 2024. Just keep it going. We just recently hit that trend line again on Thursday. And that's the trend line that we need to break to go to 100.
Yep, I gotcha. Here's your ALB trend line.
Just keep it coming. Thinking about it, that's been the greatest thing to read in the chat so far today. Is just your little smutty comments about finger motion.
A double entendre, as they call it.
Yeah. Here we go. Vape halted to the downside. This is the more of along the lines I was looking for here after that unhalt. Now we're halted.
I just hope no one's getting hurt on this one. We had this one outlined as being extremely risky from the get-go.
Yeah.
XFOR from last week might be curling again here. This actually sets up a tradable trend now.
Well, True Golf has been recovering on very low volume. AIM not doing a whole lot, still sideways. At some point, this looks like it's going to lose the 65 EMA if it can't get back above the 9 and 15. SMX still grinding its way towards VWAP. That's going to be in the same area now where the sideways consolidation from the pre-market is. A lot of supply up there. And we're also getting a backing off from V-Wave as well. I think maybe we're just going to have to sit on our hands for a little bit until we see something that sets up, because the market is kind of telling us that there's not a lot of good stuff to trade right now, and there's not a lot of follow through happening. So I think we might see it chill out for a little bit. Upexi, is that how you pronounce it? Upexi announces $500 million equity line agreement with AGP to accelerate growth of its Solana treasury strategy.
So another one then.
More treasury. Well, didn't we already get that news? What's the ticker? Is it UPXI?
Yeah, UPXI.
Okay. I thought we had some news on that before. Maybe I'm wrong. Let me see what happened in April. That's where the most movement it had recently was. Nope, that's it. Ounces, 100 million private placement. It's going to use the gross. Wait, hold on a second. Yeah, to expand crypto ventures. Yep, that's what it was. April 21st, $100 million private placement.
Zach says, been sitting on my hands all day. Zach, I don't think that's the wrong move here today. I don't think there's anything really great here ahead of earnings and ahead of some of the bigger data prints this week.
Yep. You're probably greener than most. All right. Pack B? No, that's the thin name. Looking for something that's given some kind of setup. Oh, here we go. V-Wave now really selling. Coming down to the VWAP. You got a seller that's walking the price down a little bit here, but buyers are trying to fight back as best they can. Okay, SBET making new lows. Everything kind of looking weak. Well, I'm sure everybody's hands are going to be warm.
I was going to say that 10:30 turnaround really did it in again here today. It sure seems like S&P futures also still trying to hold on to positive, but basically unchanged here. NASDAQ futures, they're up 0.3. Dow futures still in the red, but again, basically it unchanged.
Thoughts on Honeywell with its pullback and upcoming spinoffs in a small midterm position, but eyeballing a bigger position. ET3, I am a long-term holder of Honeywell. I like this company. They have their hands in a lot of different industries. Some that are in particular, not only do they have exposure to AI and quantum, to some degree, but they also have battery exposure. That's one of the recent plays we've been doing, and some pharma. They have their hands in a lot of different things. Overall, I like them longer term. I think they're a great company. As far as what their chart looks like, wouldn't be surprising to me if we still ended up getting some lower prints, because this price action we've been getting for the past week doesn't look like it's necessarily turning around. I expect if we do hit the 50-day SMA again soon, it's going to be rejected, the price. I do like the 200 better as support. The 200-day SMA as support, I like that better. I guess for me, I wouldn't be surprised if we ended up going lower before we found some footing. So do that with that information what you will. But
anyone
I do like this long term.
Sorry,
No,
I thought you were done there. Anyone like Airbnb? This actually looks like a pretty constructive daily chart here, looking like it wants to break through 143 to the upside. They have earnings in 9 days here, so it's going to be next week. But just wondering here on Airbnb, ticker ABNB.
Big pull in WAV coming down to VWAP and getting tests there.
Seeing some repeat call sweeps here. IoT, these are for the 45s that expire into the September monthly contract. Looks like there were some repeats here.
YYAI got support from its VWAP. It's trying to turn around and go back up to 420. Volume's not great. Open. This looks like it's going lower. Might come down beneath the 248 low that we've already printed this morning. Hey, no problem, ET3. I like the company. I think it's great long term.
All right, 5 minutes left here. Tesla at the highs. Tesla actually might be trying to roll higher here.
Bitcoin miner Mara closes upsized 950 million note sale to buy more BTC and fund debt repurchases.
Which miner is this?
This is Mara.
Oh, yeah, they got an upgrade this morning. So really quickly, just a reminder on some of those miners here, because we actually had them go in different directions. All right, so your downgrades here were Riot and Iren, and your upgrade was Mara.
Interesting.
Overweight from JP Morgan with a $22 price target on that Mara upgrade.
I'm not going to give any insight on Airbnb. I don't like the company's business model, so I'm not. There's too much bias here to me to give any good assessment of it. Sorry.
Take care of yourself, Kev. Thanks for everything again.
Take care, Kevin.
And the ALBT, is that one of those? Is that a mover or is that one of those ETFs? That looks like a mover here. Avalon. So we do have some news here. What?
It's a sandwich. ABLT. Oh, I'm sorry. ALBT. Gotcha.
Geez, 13.
I thought you said ALBT.
Avalon Global Care shares are trading higher after the company announced its subsidiary Q&A Distribution entered into a wholesale distribution agreement with Saga Health and its use of the Keto Air breathalyzer device in its first responder-targeted holistic health reset program. So this headline is what's popping ALBT here. Looks like $4 was the top end of that move. Certainly wouldn't chase this.
If this closes above the 200-day SMA, that'd probably set it up for some higher moves later in the week. All right. What's going on with some of these movers?
Airbnb ruining the housing market. Yeah, I feel that, Brian. I'm with 13. I have no love for Airbnb as a company. Take care of yourself, Ed.
Take care, Ed. Thinking about it, saying Hive is expected to more than double its hash rate by the end of 2025.
Biggest earnings for me this week are Tilray. Jay, I can appreciate that. Really quickly, though, as a reminder, for those of you that didn't join us early, we do have a tremendous slate of earnings here today. Wednesday and Thursday going to be your biggest days with Meta, Lam, Microsoft, and ARM and Qualcomm on Wednesday. Apple, Amazon, Coinbase, MicroStrategy, Cloudflare all on Thursday.
SoFi, this is, I mean, I don't know if you want to pull up a chart real quick, but this looks like this is on the verge of breaking down. It's been hammering this 20, I guess we'll call it.
Yeah, it sure does.
That just looks like a breakdown is imminent. If it loses 20.75, that's just an ugly looking formation.
Looks like more lows coming on SoFi.
All right, so V-Wave down to VWAP. Oh, man. If it loses VWAP, I'd be looking at $5 as the next support area, and even then, I'm not sure it'll hold up.
AIM, no bueno.
Whoa.
That thing is really bad.
Big move out of nowhere with SMX. This popped up to the pre-market highs, blowing through VWAP in the process. Backing off, coming back into the consolidation channel from the pre-market as well. But
all right, any closing words for the group 13?
Well, hopefully tomorrow we'll have some more movers that will give us some better trades. But this is a very crazy week, so let's be careful. Let's exercise caution with all the stuff and news and everything that's going on, folks. I'll see you tomorrow. Stay green out there. Take care, and I'll see you then. Bye-bye.
Perfect. Good way to start the week here, 13. Appreciate you. We will see you tomorrow, folks. We will see all of you tomorrow. Have a great rest of your Wednesday and Wednesday evening. Stay green, stay safe, stay focused. Right back again here tomorrow, 8 o'clock.